Good morning, 5 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump signaling a huge shift in Ukraine, deploying new U.S. weapons to help protect that country from scathing Russian attacks. ABC's Ian Pennell reporting from Ukraine.
Russian missile strikes in major cities increasing from a year ago. Trump growing frustrated.
We thought we had a deal numerous times.
Now, along with those Patriot missile systems, President Trump threatening severe tariffs within 50 days unless Russia agrees to a peace deal. President Zelensky, who met with the U.S. Special Envoy earlier, speaking to Trump, welcoming the move.
Now, President Trump is also promising massive tariffs if President Putin doesn't agree to a truce. Locally, a family in Smyrna heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 Saturday morning. We brought this story to you yesterday. Channel 4's Noah Taylor's mom, Channel 4 says that Noah Taylor's mom lives just 15 minutes away from where he died, and she and the rest of the family are devastated.
He had actually came and spent the night with us the night before, and he got up in the morning. He was getting ready for work. And I'm grateful and thankful that the last words that I got to hear from him was, "I love you, Mom."
The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office asking anyone who is driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit. This is Saturday morning between 7 and 8 o'clock. They want you to check any car cameras that may have and share any video that may help identify the suspect responsible for his death. Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Major U.S. stock indexes started off the week in record territory. The Dow was up 88 points at the close of trading. The S&P 500 climbed 9 points, and the Nasdaq gained 55 points to reach a new record close. Facebook's parent company Meta announced plans to build up its artificial intelligence computing infrastructure. In a post to social media, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said the company is investing hundreds of billions of dollars to build super intelligence at campuses in Ohio and Louisiana. A trade group of U.S. ice cream makers say they will eliminate several artificial colors from the products by 2028. The announcement was made with the Department of Health and Human Services, which has been encouraging businesses to eliminate synthetic dyes, under Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. Michelle Franson, ABC News.
Stock futures mixed this morning. The Dow futures pointing down at 38 points. NASDAQ futures up 131. S&P futures are up 23 points. We're expecting a reading on inflation later this morning. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. In Berry Hill this morning on 440 eastbound at exit 5, you've got a bridge inspection going on, and the right lane is blocked off by that. Also, keep in mind that Operation Southern Slowdown is underway right now. That's a multi-state effort with Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. It's all focused on reducing speed and aggressive driving, and it goes on through the 20th of this month. So be advised that you're being urged to slow down. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Hey, 7:05, we do have Senator Bill Hagerty. He is going to be joining us. All the latest on Russia, illegal immigration, the Genius Act as well. Senator Hagerty joining us again at 7:05 here on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Donald Trump, of course. I need some audio if I could. KGB, Donald Trump dealing with Ukraine, really dealing with Russia. So let's talk a little bit about this. Of course, a big message to Vladimir Putin yesterday.
We've made a deal today where we are going to be sending them weapons and they're going to be paying for them. The United States will not be having any payment made. We're not buying it, but we will manufacture it and they're going to be paying for it.
Yeah, so this is, and we've been talking about this, none of this came as a surprise, but we do have a deal now with NATO to send a ton of bombs, Patriot missiles to Ukraine. Now, NATO is going to pay for those missiles. So we have a lot of people on the right, and they're saying, oh, we're sending more weapons to Ukraine. Well, we're really not. We're sending them to NATO. We're actually selling these weapons to NATO. And then NATO will facilitate sending that weaponry to Ukraine. And by the way, that's just one part of this whole deal. The other part is that if these two sides cannot find peace, because Donald Trump, he is, and I think appropriately so at this point, Trump is pinning the fact that these two sides cannot find peace directly on Russia. As a matter of fact, if these two cannot find peace in 50 days, then Donald Trump is threatening to sanction Russia by 100%. And he's also going to sanction those countries that buy, for example, Russian oil and other products as well. And so that is a threat to India and China as well. So not only is the president going to go after Vladimir Putin and Russia, but he's also going to go after those countries that buy Russian oil. And so he's going after India and China as well. This is going to be really interesting. Now, my complaint about sanctions is that they just don't work. Because, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask Bill Hagerty, is, okay, so we are going to, in 50 days, if these two sides cannot find peace, then we're going to sanction Russia by 100%. All right, so is that really going to work? Because sanctions so far, let's face it, they have not worked. And so what is going to be different this time? Well, one of the things that's going to be incredibly different is that we are going after these secondary countries as well. A lot of folks saying this is a massive policy shift, but I believe that it is one that is designed to end the war in Ukraine.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia, but we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means. As you know, we've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine, and would like to see it end. It wasn't my war, it was Biden's war. It's not my war. I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%.
So I do believe that this is a long time coming. I do believe that this is a good thing because I believe, and some of my friends on the right are going to get mad at me, but I think that part of what's been going on is Vladimir Putin has been playing Trump a little bit, and that's just a fact. Because, and Donald Trump would even admit, I mean, he has been admitting, he certainly did yesterday, that he would have, and he's been saying this over the past week or so, that you have these great conversations with Vladimir Putin. Oh, yeah, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. And then all of a sudden, you know, a couple of hours later, he's, sending a bunch of bombs and hitting residential areas in Ukraine. And I know, all the hate listeners out there, Donald Trump said that he was going to have this whole thing wrapped up within 24 hours. Donald Trump did say that, and he said it many, many times. So here's the deal, though. He has been trying. Hakeem Jeffries, of course, is out there.
Vladimir Putin has spent the entire year punking Donald Trump and the Trump administration.
Yep, that is Hakeem Jeffries. Let him have the talking point. Here's the thing. Let Hakeem Jeffries have the talking point, because my talking point right back to Garage Band Obama is that the Democrats are out here blasting Donald Trump with the usual talking points. But the president, because of Joe Biden's weakness, Trump came into a near impossible situation. But forget about that context, because Hakeem Jeffries, he just doesn't care.
Donald Trump promised many things to the American people and continues to betray the American people and break promise after promise after promise in a whole lot of areas, including Donald Trump's promise that there would be peace in Ukraine.
You know what? Hey, Joan, you there?
I am.
I just realized what Hakeem Jeffries sounds like, because he's got this speaking pattern that drives me nuts. And he sounds like a dopey Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like a dopey Frankenstein. That's what Hakeem... Now, I realize I'm like way off topic now. But he's just... Do you remember... What's that song? They're coming to take me away. They're coming to take me away.
Yeah.
That's what Hakeem Jeffries sounds like. A dopey, they're coming to take me away guy. KGB, can you... I'm not going to be able to function. Can you find that song? They're coming to take me away.
Who sang it? Like,
I don't even know. Rush Limbaugh, El Rushbo used to play that all the time. I don't even know if that's a real song, but it just hit me in the middle of this segment. That's what Hakeem Jeffries sounds like. This dopey yet robotic way of speaking, where he's spewing talking points. And that's all that he's doing. And by the way, if either of you have the super text line open, I guarantee you somebody has already told us what song that is and who sings it, maybe even a YouTube link.
There is something.
So Hakeem Jeffries, anyway, here's more of what he says. Dopey Frankenstein, Hakeem Jeffries.
Donald Trump promised many things to the American people. And
by the way, Joe, did you see what he did on... Now I'm just completely off the rails.
You
and
really
it's only
are?
5:14.
I think I found it though, Dan. I do not know if this is actually it, but we're going to give this a shot.
Okay, hold on, because I want to talk to Joan about something. Did you see where on the 4th of July, Dopey Frankenstein, Hakeem Jeffries, he photoshopped a picture of himself trying to slim himself?
Yeah. Against the railing.
Yeah. And then the railing looks all, I don't know, oblonged or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he photoshopped himself and the railing.
It's
and so he's got
ridiculous.
He's got the shades on. I don't know what he's doing, drinking or whatever it is. And he clearly photoshopped himself trying to look skinnier. And it's like, dude, I'm sure that there's other ways to do this. And he didn't even notice.
It would be different if the guy was fat, but he's not. He's not fat.
I don't know if he is. Is he not?
No,
okay.
he's not.
Then why did he do it?
He's creepy. Icky.
Well, he is creepy.
Yeah.
He is creepy. That's the other thing. He's dopey and creepy. He's Hakeem Jeffries.
I think we've got new dwarfs.
That's exactly
Dopey
right. And they're all
creepy.
named Hakeem.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let him finish the. I'm going to let him finish the audio bite, And, well, now it's traffic time. All right, real quickly, let's do traffic. It is 5:15, Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads.
Just that bridge inspection that continues in Berry Hill this morning on 440 at exit 5. They got the right lane blocked off there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as the weather today, it's going to be 93, possible thunderstorms as well. And I don't know what it is right now, probably in the 70s. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, this is Hakeem Jeffries, as he is talking about Donald Trump and the broken promises of Ukraine.
Donald Trump promised many things to the American people and continues to betray the American people and break promise after promise after promise in a whole lot of areas, including Donald Trump's promise that there would be peace in Ukraine on day one of his presidency. How is that working out?
All right, so go ahead and play the "They're Coming to Take Me Away" guy.
Remember when you ran away?
Oh my God, it's the same thing!
Right?
Joan, it is the same speaking pattern.
Well, you left me anyhow, and then
You know, when I was
Donald
listening
Trump
to this,
promised many things to the American people and continues to betray the American people and break promise after promise after promise in a whole lot of areas, including Donald Trump's promise that there would be peace in Ukraine on day one of his presidency. How is that working out?
I'm telling you, it's uncanny.
it's pretty dead on.
Am I the only? I can't be the only person that has discovered this. I mean, I'm certain there's other people that have figured this out.
Maybe, but when you told me to look it up and I listened to it, I'm like, and then you were playing the audio at the same time I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh, it works.
Right. You know, somebody's got to do like and what song is that? Is that like a?
It's sung by Napoleon the 14th.
Yes, it's called "They're Coming to Take Me Away." Ha ha. Napoleon the 14th, as she said. It has 900,000 views on YouTube.
I can't remember why or what it is that Rush Limbaugh, he had either that song or a version of that song, but I would like them to come take Hakeem Jeffries away, and Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, AOC right up there as well. So that is Hakeem Jeffries. And, you know, here's the answer to that question about, you know, oh, Donald Trump, he's, you know, breaking that, I'm going to have this, you know, wrapped up in 24 hours thing. At least Donald Trump is doing something. I mean, that's my whole point. At least Donald Trump is doing something. Joe Biden didn't do a damn thing. All Joe Biden did was write checks. So I think that Donald Trump, if we are going to stay engaged in this, Trump is doing the right thing. And a lot of people on the right are going to start screaming about, oh, we're sending more weapons to Ukraine. No, we're not. We're selling them to NATO. Then NATO is going to, and I realize that, and I'm the one that said this. I'm sure other people have as well. But, you know, we have our funds go to NATO as well. We pay our dues. But, I mean, here's the deal. At least there's something in it for America. At least there's something in it for American taxpayers. So there is a massive difference between directly giving Ukraine weapons with zero expectations for being paid as opposed to what Donald Trump is doing now. Under Biden, we were giving them away. In this administration, we are selling those weapons to NATO, who will in turn deliver them to Ukraine. By the way, Joan, I know that you've heard this.
Yes.
Behind every great man is a great woman. Is that what it is?
Is basically a more fantastic, beautiful woman.
And certainly the case could be made here on Nashville's Morning News, Joan.
Certainly.
First Lady Melania Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard this?
No, what?
So she actually helped convince the president to get tough on Russia. This is Donald Trump's quote yesterday.
Lovely conversation, and then the missiles go off that night. I go home, I tell the First Lady, and I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit.
So that, and the New York Post has a whole big article. So Trump, you know, he comes home and he tells Melania, had a great conversation with Vladimir today And then she would say back to Trump, well, he just bombed another Ukrainian city, residential areas at that. So
when my husband and I get together at night, we talk about the grandkids or, how the golf game was today. These two go home and talk about Russia and having a conversation with Vladimir Putin. It's kind of crazy, right?
Well, it is. You know what? I'm sure they have a lot of conversations about the grandkids too. I think it's not surprising that Trump would go home, and I think that he would have a few things to say about his day as president. You're right, though, because I'd be willing to bet. Can you imagine what Melania goes through?
I cannot imagine.
And I'm not saying this is a negative against Donald Trump, but what I am saying is that the man weaves in his conversation, right? We all know that he came up with this concept of weaving, where it's like there is no direct answer to anything. He will go into 15 different directions before he finally gets to the answer of the question that was asked, which is fine. I wonder if Melania, because Amy, I promise you this, Joan, Amy has told me on numerous occasions, can you just answer my effing question? Like she does that all the time. Because I don't intentionally weave. I bloviate, and I try not to. But then honest to goodness, so I will talk to Amy, and we'll be speaking about whatever, and she'll say, can we just skip the middle part where you go on and on for like 3 minutes and just answer my question? But then when I do that, and I'm very direct in my answers, you know what I get? Are you mad at me? Why aren't you talking? It's like, I'm not talking because you tell me to shut up all the time.
Sounds like you talk like a politician.
No, I don't. You know what I do at home? I talk like a talk show host, and I got to stop that. Some therapy might be in order for the missus and I.
I think just for you.
Whatever.
Fair point.
5:22. Well, this kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, totally.
Joan is coming up in the news at 5:30.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell says she's holding a get-out-of-jail-free card, and she wants the Supreme Court to help her use it. Also, all that hot and wet weather that we've been having, it has led to a scary little creature invading your home. Yeah, we've got those stories and more coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
527, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So Charlie Kirk, who I like very much, Joan, he may have shanked it.
Oh, why?
So I'm going to play you a piece of audio, and I want to give you my thoughts on it, and if you want to give your thoughts on it as well. This is Charlie Kirk, and he says that he is done talking about the Epstein files.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine.
So he is backing off of the Epstein file conversation. And a lot of people, a lot of Charlie Kirk fans are really upset with him for a number of things. Number one, do you know, I don't know if you caught that, Joan, but he says, I'm going to paraphrase, I'm going to rely on my friends in the government to.
Yeah.
Are you
I did catch that.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Red flag.
Yeah. Thank you, KGB. That is an absolute red flag.
Yeah.
Because once you make, that's why I don't, and I've said this before, I don't go to the things. Do you know what I mean? I don't go to the things. I don't go to the Reagan party or the Reagan dinner. I don't go to the barbecues. I don't go to that stuff. You know, I really, I like these folks, but I don't hang out with them because they're not my friends and I'm not their friend. You can't have any credibility and say, well, I'm going to rely on my friends in the administration. Are you kidding me? So then I see this meme. Idolizing a politician is like believing the stripper really likes you. I don't know, man. I'm a little disappointed in Charlie Kirk. I'm just going to be honest. I'm disappointed because, and listen, if he decides that he doesn't want to talk about Epstein because he's tired of talking about Epstein, well, then fine. And I'm going to be honest with you, friends. We here at WTN, we are getting a crap ton of pushback on this. Like every time I start discussing, Chris and I talked about this yesterday. Every time we start talking about Epstein, people start, mad texting into the super text line.
Yeah.
I bet you they're doing it right now. But you know what? There's the other half who want us to keep talking about that. And I was listening to a talk show host yesterday, and I'm going to be honest with you, friends, I don't necessarily listen to a lot of talk radio these days. And I sat there and I listened through the entire segment. The reason why is because it was interesting to me. There's still stuff to cover without, going on and on about it. And I'm going to continue to cover Epstein. There is big news on this today. I'm going to continue to cover this as the news story and the political story that it is. Got a lot more straight ahead on WTN.
Good morning, 5:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Watch for an accident this morning on the eastbound lanes of 24. It's at Haywood Lane, exit 57, and they've got the left lane there blocked off by it. More in traffic and weather right after the news. Ghislaine Maxwell wants her conviction overturned, and she's asking the Supreme Court to review her case. Maxwell says that she was protected from prosecution by a clause in Jeffrey Epstein's agreement with prosecutors in Florida in 2007. The Department of Justice is urging the Supreme Court to reject that appeal. It's led by U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer. A Coffee County Sheriff's deputy has been fired after a drunken fight with police officers over the weekend. Police were called to Sportscom in Murfreesboro on Saturday, where several people were holding down 32-year-old Miles White. WSMV4's Tracy Cornett.
They said he briefly struggled with officers. He was charged with public intoxication, resisting arrest, and assaulting a first responder. The Coffee County Sheriff's Office says White was off duty at the time. They fired him after his arrest.
White was booked into the Rutherford County Detention Center on an $11,000 bond. Well, all that hot and wet weather is making for perfect conditions for a dangerous spider. Jeff Williams with Integrity Pest Control tells WSMB4 that he's seeing more brown recluse spiders, which head indoors during hot and wet weather.
Clutter, boxes, those are great homes for spiders and other insects as well. One is too many in most cases.
Now, the brown recluse spider bites are rarely deadly, but they can cause tissue damage if the bite is not treated. That guy there, Jeffrey Williams at Integrity Pest Control, says that glue traps are your friend. Country music star Jelly Roll has opened up his private speakeasy to the public. It's called Buddy's Back Room, located above his Goodnight Nashville bar. Buddy refers to his dad, who died a few years ago. It's got 80 seats, family recipes on the menu, and it's only open on Friday and Saturday nights. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. It's 5:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. I visited the Clayton Homes Dixon showroom the other day. Amazing homes, great prices, and even better these days because they are in the middle of their Sign and Save sales event at Clayton Homes. Now, you can save $2,500 on a single section or $5,000 on a multi-section. You walk into these homes, and they really do look luxurious, complete with energy-smart appliances and great floor plans as well. A lot of variety, too, all kinds of different price points. These manufactured homes have come a long way over the years. Clayton Homes can also help you find a plot of land and get it ready to live on. They really are a one-stop shop. Now, don't forget, you can save thousands of dollars right now with the Sign and Save sales event from Clayton Homes. $2,500 on a single section or $5,000 on a multi-section. Check them out for yourself at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. That's manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands, retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
There are some slowdowns this morning on the eastbound side of 24 at Haywood Lane, exit 57. Got the left lane blocked off there by an accident. And it looks like things are starting to jam up as well on the westbound side. Maybe some folks looking over at that accident this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
537, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you listening. Joan Jones is here. KGB Jeff Malinoff is here as well. So we're having some fun with They're Coming to Take Me Away from Napoleon, whatever it was. And it turns out that Rush Limbaugh, way back when, because I knew that I'd heard that song before, and it was with the great Rush Limbaugh, who used that for Ross Perot, Joan, back in the day.
That's right. It was for Ross Perot. Wow.
And I don't know, did Ross Perot speak like that? I don't think that he did. I didn't know that he spoke with I think it was a Texan accent.
He was heavy on the Texan, yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. So anyway, thank you, folks, very much. I was playing that audio earlier, and by the way, if you are just joining us, I was playing some audio a few minutes ago from Charlie Kirk, who, of course, everybody knows who Charlie Kirk is. And he had said this about the Epstein files. And no, I'm not going to continuously talk about it, but I want to give you some feedback from what I got on the super text line. This is Charlie Kirk.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
So the thing is, and so one of the things that I said was, dude, the government is not your friend. And especially if you're a talk show host. Like, these people are not your friends. In my opinion, and maybe other people have some different, opinions on that. I think there's a line that you should always have where if you're a talk show host or if you're a journalist or whatever, you don't make friends with the people that you cover. And that's the difference between an advocate and somebody who actually is willing to call balls and strikes. And that's what I've always tried to do, is call balls and strikes with a conservative viewpoint. So anyway, the super text line, a few people had a few things to say. One guy, and I've got to pull it back up, doggone.
Well, while you're looking for it, let me just tell you this.
Yeah.
Him having said that gives the media the open door to criticize conservatives again. So I'm looking at stories from Newsweek, MSNBC, The Hill, The Independent, all of them saying, the Trump loyalists are now dropping the rage over the Epstein files, and here's our proof. Charlie Kirk says he's going to quit.
Really?
Yeah. So that damages the rest of us.
Yeah, it actually does.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the other thing, is that all he had to do was just not talk about it.
Yeah.
Instead of making a big deal out of not talking about it. So
like you, I love the guy.
What's that?
Like you, I love the guy. I love Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk, yes.
I think that was a mistake.
I do. I believe that it was a mistake. But whatever. You know, we all do our shows differently. And if that's what he wants to do, then bless his heart. That's fine. That's what he wants to do. So 8431 says that I've referred to you guys on WTN as my friends when I discuss what you guys talk about during the day with my wife. So I don't think it is meant to be friend in the fashion that you're referring to, talking about Charlie Kirk. And you, Dan, he's talking to me, and you just referred to your listeners as your friends, but we're not friends, seriously. So a couple of things. We're not talking about talk show hosts and listeners. We're talking about talk show host and the government. Talk show host is supposed to be covering the things that the government does. So I'm just telling you that I think there is a big difference between a talk show host and a journalist, or whatever you want to call Charlie Kirk. There is a difference between, him calling the government his friends and me calling listeners my friends. Now, I truly do believe that in a certain way that the listeners are my friends and my family. I do. Now, obviously, it's different than my real life friends and family, but I got to tell you that some of the people that I admire most are some of the people that I have met that are listeners to this radio station. So I understand what the person is saying, but I have spoken to so many people who have said to me, and Joan, I know that you get this because people say it to you all the time over the past many years. Oh, you're like family.
Exactly.
Oh, you're like my friends.
Because they listen every day and,
right.
you know, so you feel that way. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and yes.
And there's a big difference. I'm not covering the listeners, if you know what I mean, as a topic of conversation. I'm just not. So, and yeah, I do consider the people that listen as, you know, friends and family. I do. Whenever I was, where was I? I was at, a pool place the other day. A friend of ours is getting a pool. We're helping her pick out the pool, whatever. But a guy was in there, listening to the show, had a great, 5, 7, 8 minute conversation with him. And I consider him, a friend. I don't put listeners in this sort of like basket over here. You know what I mean? I consider them and you folks a big part of my life, obviously, because we communicate all the time. We communicate through the super text line, on social media as well, private messaging and phone calls and so forth. But anyway, whatever. So that is just how I feel about it. Hey, Joan.
Yes, sir.
Big tragedy. Did you hear what happened?
No, what happened, Dan? I know you're not serious about a big tragedy.
Especially when you're smiling.
Yeah.
Beyonce's music has been stolen.
Oh, no.
Wait, what do you mean stolen?
Unreleased Beyonce music has been stolen in Atlanta after a car break-in. So she had like 5 hard drives of what they call watermarked music, some unreleased music, footage plans for her shows and so on and so forth, were taken from a 2024 Jeep Wagoneer that was being driven by Beyonce's choreographer, Christopher Grant, last week, according to police. The car, which was being rented, was in a parking deck by the market there, Krog Street Market, whatever, a popular spot near downtown Atlanta. And they left 5 hard drives of Beyonce's music in the car.
So they hit the jackpot.
And somebody, well, I don't know. Is it a jackpot? Because what do you do with, 5 hard drives of unreleased music?
I mean, they probably could get a pretty penny out of that.
So when I read that story, I also thought about this. It's Atlanta. It's in a parked car. It's probably a good 130 degrees.
Yes.
Why are they leaving hard drives in 130-degree weather in the backseat of a car?
That's a great point, Joan.
Ooh, conspiracy?
Yeah, I think there's something maybe else going on.
Do you know what the great thing is? Is that she can say, you know what? My music is actually a lot better. It just got stolen. Okay, I thought that was funny.
Yeah. My music's really hot. Get it? Because it was 130 degrees in the car.
Sure. See, okay, neither one of us are hitting on this today, Joan. You know what? Ever since she tried to do country music, I've had it in for Beyonce. Out. Had it in, out, whatever. I'm not a big fan of Beyonce.
So just real quick, just for this whole ordeal, Beyonce, this could lead to an investigation.
Sure.
Or suspicious of conspiracy theories.
But what do you do with unreleased music? Like, you can't make any money on it, can you?
I would think not. I mean, if you release
you can release it,
don't you just kind of open yourself up to, hey, you're the person that stole it?
Well, you could say like, hey, meet me here with $1 million in unmarked bills or some nonsense like that. I don't know, but I feel like you could. There's got to be like a black market for this kind of thing.
You know what they do? They hold it hostage, and then they say to Beyonce that I've got your.
Get a ransom out of it.
I've got your music. If you want to take it back, if you want to get it back, then you can, and you could.
That's what
do
KGB was just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, did you? Anybody here been bitten by a black recluse? Is it black?
It's
brown.
brown.
No, it's brown.
Brown.
Brown recluse. Anybody been bitten by a brown recluse?
No.
KGB?
I have not.
So I don't know exactly what it's like, but I believe I may have been bitten by a brown recluse.
What?
Yeah.
When?
It's on my the back part of my shin. And it is killing me this morning.
Oh.
So last night, I mean, nobody cares about this, but last night I fell asleep down in the basement. And I'm wondering, even though we have, pest people that come around,
Well,
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe one
so
snuck
did you
in
just
and-
hear the story I just did?
No.
You don't listen.
Well, no, I heard something about brown recluses.
So what it is when it's hot and wet outside, they don't like the conditions outside, so they come in.
Yeah.
They look for shelter inside your home. And the places that they're going to look for shelter are going to be in your basement, in your garage, in places where there's clutter, a lot of boxes, things like that. That's where they'll hide. But they're going to, of course, be looking for food while they're in there. So not that your shin is food, but they'll get around.
Dan, they're also pretty venomous.
They
I
are.
would see medical attention if you did get bit. It's
You
the same danger as like a black widow.
Yeah. Well, no, I think black widows are more dangerous. The story that I have says that they're not deadly, but if you don't get it treated, you can have tissue damage.
Yeah, it's narcotic venom. Like it destroys everything.
Initial reaction. After being bitten, you may experience mild redness and itching at the bite site. The itching is driving me nuts. It is driving me crazy. It looks red and it looks like a big pimple. On the back of my leg. That's what it looks like.
Dan, see a doctor, dude.
Yeah. I would say don't mess around with that.
If it's swollen that big, like a pimple size, that's not that. No, a spider bite is just a tiny bump. It shouldn't be a
and it
huge
should not
inflamed
be
one
inflamed.
like that.
Yeah, no.
This
don't,
might be
don't mess
Dan's
around with
last
that.
show, guys.
Pain, you might feel mild to intense. Yeah, but if I go out like with a brown recluse bite, at least I went out, like manly kind of a thing. It's almost like being, killed by a snake.
No. That's
Dan,
not.
I'm actually kind of
doesn't
worried
make
for you
sense.
a little bit.
Does it also eat away at brain tissue? Because that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Dan, how you got bit yesterday? You said.
No, I woke up this morning.
Oh, you woke up this morning.
And guess what? Guess what is in my basement? A lot of boxes.
Okay, well there you go, Dan.
Dan, I'm honestly not kidding.
If I die, who wants my Marconi? Either one of you want my Marconi?
I'll leave that for Amy.
Only if you rub out your name and put mine on it.
I'll take a Sharpie.
Yeah,
and I'll just
okay,
put
yeah.
Jones on it.
Little Scotch tape.
Just so don't let this happen to you. You might feel mild to intense pain that can start anywhere from 2 to 8 hours after the bite. The pain may increase over time, form blisters.
And it sounds like it did form a blister
A
or like
sunken appearance. The bite site may have a slight sunken appearance, resembling a pimple.
You just said that.
Resembling a pimple
Dan.
or a boil, which can be mistaken for an ingrown hair. I bet you I've got ingrown hair because I got those, beastly, manly, hairy legs.
So
somebody just texted, Jason just texted, are you sure it's not an ingrown hair from shaving your legs?
But in all seriousness, Dan, I would recommend going to urgent care after the show.
Okay, you know what? We'll see how I feel after the show.
Or draw a circle of where the swelling is, and if it gets past that circle, go to the hospital.
Necrosis. In more severe cases, the bite can lead to tissue necrosis, where the skin and surrounding tissue break down, resulting in a larger ulcer. So, the problem is I can't really see it right now because, I wear pants to work, usually. So,
Well, we wouldn't know because you're sitting at the desk,
Dan,
right?
the text line is getting worried. Like, YouTube and text is kind of saying, go now. Don't wait.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
That's what they all say. Then you're going to go with 1 foot out coming in tomorrow.
You know what? On my gravestone, just have it say,
I'm fine.
I'm fine. with a picture of a brown recluse.
And 5581 is correcting you, KGB. It's not narcotic venom. It's necrotic venom.
Oh, did I say it wrong? That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I apologize. But same principle, same what we were thinking
Right.
talking about.
Hey, did you hear what Gavin Newsom tried? Oh, we're running late now. Did you hear really quickly what Gavin Newsom tried to do to J.D. Vance and what J.D. Vance did on...
Oh, yeah, I saw this, yeah.
So there are a couple of things. Number one is you have Gavin Newsom who tries to troll J.D. Vance as he's going to Disneyland. Governor Gavin Newsom, hope you enjoy your family time at J.D. Vance. The families you're tearing apart certainly won't. J.D. Vance just says, had a great time. Thanks. I love that.
I also saw Harry Sisson give him crap over. He did the dad run when his kid's wandering off. You know, not the full and sprint.
Did you see the dad run, Joan?
I didn't watch it. No.
Okay, so we can talk a little bit about the dad run because I think we've all made the dad run. Those of us who are parents, we know exactly. But
I made that run with my niece and nephew. Like everyone has done it when you're watching a child.
Joan, look it up real quick. I want to get Joan's real-time reading of J.D. Vance's dad run because I think people are saying it looked a little effeminate. Is that what they're saying?
No, it's a run to not alarm people. You know, it's not a full-on
it was
sprint.
sort of like, it was not a full-on sprint. The child sort of went scampering away.
Yeah.
And so he had to do, you know what? That makes him relatable, actually, because we've all done the dad run.
Everyone has made that silly run because you don't want to alarm your kids. You don't want to make them think.
Yeah, you don't want to go into the bionic man, sprint.
And it's just like they're not that far away, so you don't have to full on sprint. So you have to do like a mini trot.
I want to know how that kid, without that Secret Service around, got that far away.
That's a good point.
So somebody is calling it a bizarre diaper dash.
Diaper dash?
A diaper dash.
No, I don't think. Did you watch it, Joan?
Makes sense.
And they say that it's a weird run.
It's not a weird run.
It's not a weird run.
You know what? I don't think so.
That's ridiculous.
Have you seen it, Joan? Have you watched the run? Can you find it?
I'm watching it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the kid runs like nobody notices the kid is like scampered off to J.D. Vance's left. And so he notices and then he, sort
Trots.
of does this little fast walk trot to get the kid. And
which everyone who is taking care of a child has done.
Right. I mean, that is exactly right. I should post this. This is one of those moments where we need to have the video on the radio.
Somebody else is calling it the Vance prance.
The Vance prance. You know what? All right, here I'm gonna post this to my social media. But Joan, what do you think?
It's silly that anybody's making fun of it. When you see your kid taking off and perhaps approaching an area where they're going to get in trouble, get hurt, you do whatever you can to get them.
And just in a crowded place like Disneyland, that's the last place you want your kid wandering off to because who knows what could happen.
I think what it is, his hands are sort of flat. So I think people are saying it's sort of like a prance, sort of like an effeminate kind of a run.
Right.
But
it's a parent run.
I'm here to tell you that I think he's being a good dad.
Not letting his kid wander off? Yeah.
Well, he
just looks at his kid and just waves him off like, you're good. Go enjoy the world. You're ready.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, I find it kind of funny. I don't think it's a big deal. I love the fact that you had Gavin Newsom trying to troll J.D. Vance into a fight, and old J.D. wanted nothing to do with it, and I absolutely love that. All right, it is 5:55, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, WTN, and there it is. Joan, what's coming up?
Well, coming up, another Supreme Court ruling in favor of Trump policies. Also, SpaceX has come splashing back to Earth this morning. Stick around for that and more coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.56, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. By the way, Joan,
yes.
KGB is trying to convince me to take a picture of my possible brown recluse.
I think you should.
Bite and put it up on the screen here or whatever.
I think you should. I think we have a lot of armchair doctors
the chat is
who
worried,
would like to see. Yeah,
I won't be doing that. And by the way,
come on.
And by the way,
the family is worried.
Here's the deal: if I start, like flicking web out of my wrists, you'll know that it really did take hold.
Oh, yeah. And then you start swinging from the ceiling.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Like I do at home. It's 5:56. Mark Spain,
TMI.
real estate. Okay, July is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Now, you can make the most of your summer by selling your home with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. You can skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you're ready. With over 13,000 five-star reviews, you can trust the top real estate team in America to sell your home stress-free and, yes, for the most money. Call them 855-299-SOLD. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, 855-299-SOLD. MarkSpain.com is the website to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's MarkSpain.com and start packing.
Good morning, 6 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A family in Smyrna heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 on Saturday morning. And once again today, they're pleading with the public for any information that helps them find the killer. Now, Noah was born and raised in Smyrna, went to Smyrna High School. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit on Saturday morning between 7 and 8 a.m. to check any car cameras that they may have and share any video that may help to identify the suspect responsible. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation now searching for a man who hasn't been seen for more than a month. Ryan King, missing from Henry County. He told his family he was headed to Florida, but he hasn't been seen since early June. TBI is asking anyone who sees Ryan King to give them a call. The Supreme Court yesterday gave the Trump administration the clearance to pare down the Department of Education.
Secretary McMahon wants to return education back to the states. This is just the first step in doing that. By reducing the agency and the workforce, it gives more power to the states and it gives less power to the government.
ABC's Arthur Jones there. A separate case decides if McMahon can abolish the department completely. A SpaceX capsule carrying 4 astronauts on a private mission splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off San Diego early this morning.
Splashdown. We are in Stable 1.
SpaceX copies splashdown and Stable 1. On behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
Now, the astronauts from Poland, India, and Hungary were led by former NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson. She has the most time in space ever. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Americans likely paid more for goods and services last month. The Consumer Price Index for June is due out this morning. It's expected to reflect pressure exerted by U.S. imposed tariffs on imports. The tariff impact was definitely seen last month at the Port of Los Angeles, which saw its best June ever for shipping container traffic. Shippers said they were racing to beat new trade taxes, especially a mid-August deadline for tariffs on Chinese goods. Wall Street's investors waiting for the CPI reading pushed stocks higher on Monday. The Dow Jones rose 88 points to close at 44,459. The S&P picked up 0.14%. The Nasdaq Composite added just over 0.25%. Starbucks corporate employees are being told to return to the office at least 4 days a week, starting in October, up from the current 3 days a week. Those who decide not to make the change are being offered a one-time voluntary buyout, and they're being shown the door. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures are mixed. The Dow futures minus 33, but the Nasdaq futures gaining 130 this morning. S&P futures are up 22 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Things have reopened on North Mount Juliet Road this morning between Division Street and Industrial Drive. They were doing some repairs there on the railroad. You've got some delays this morning on 24, the westbound side, starting in the Laverne area, headed up to Nashville. It looks like normal volume delays at this point. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to Tuesday, July 15th of 2025. Hope you are doing well. Man, we got a lot going on. Hey, by the way, coming up at 7:05, we do have Senator Bill Hagerty. He's going to be joining us. Victoria Coates is a foreign policy analyst with the Heritage Foundation. She'll be joining us at 8:05, and we'll be talking about Donald Trump versus Vladimir Putin. And that is going to be a great conversation as well. And I always appreciate your comments on the super text line at 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. All right, so real quickly, and we're not going to belabor the point because I know there's some of you folks that hate this, but there are some developments with Epstein. Some audio making news this morning is Alan Dershowitz actually saying that there is actually no Epstein client list per se.
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them. From accusers that accuse that accuse various people of having improper sex. And that has been redacted. The names of the people accused have been blacked out. Now, of course, because I was the lawyer and I did only investigations, I know who all these people are. I could figure out, based on everything that I saw, who Mr. X is, Mr. Y is, and Mr. Z. I can tell you right now, none of them are public figures who are currently in office. Some of them were previously in office. Some of them are dead. But there is no client list. And the redactions could be undone if you go to court.
You know what I think is interesting on this? I think that Alan Dershowitz is really enjoying being the guy that says, I know, but I can't tell you what I know. Because every interview that he's in, he has that to say. And you know what, Dershowitz, being the attorney with Jeffrey Epstein, and of course his name was, linked to the list, if you will, and he had to go out and prove his innocence, and some people don't believe that he's innocent. I wouldn't be so proud, though, if I'm Alan Dershowitz, to know all of the things that he knows about this case. But what he's saying is there is no actual easy list to go over, right? There's no Excel spreadsheet, if you will. So what they do have is a list of accusations from accusers. And you just heard him say, Alan Dershowitz, that there are those that are named that are either retired from politics, they're dead, at least those politicians that might be on the list, either dead or retired from politics, Bill Clinton. He also says that all you have to do is go to court. Well, then, you know what I would ask? Okay, well, then why don't you, Alan Dershowitz, take the ball and run with it? And you work with the people that you work with. And if you so want this information out, and Alan Dershowitz does, well, then work with the Republicans and work with the people that want this released and try to get the information out there. He also, by the way, throws some defense to Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. Listen close.
So many of the things that are being suppressed by two judges in Manhattan, and they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims, even though we don't know what their actual status is. But the judges have issued orders, which is why I can't disclose things I'd love to disclose, saying that you can't disclose this information. But Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that. I don't know of any information that they could disclose that they haven't disclosed. Now, maybe there is some, but I'm simply not aware of it.
Well, here's the thing. Be that as it may, you also had Pam Bondi talking about how the files were on her desk. You had Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi all speaking ad nauseum about the Epstein files. And I believe that it is those, guest hits on, cable TV or with Dan Bongino, his talk show, whatever. But there's a conversation about these files almost on a daily basis. So there is that. No doubt the Trump administration has been eviscerated by all of this.
And so I think it's important to place the blame where the blame deserves to be placed. The vast majority of people who are in the files, and I know them all, I've seen all the names, the vast majority of them have already been disclosed. They're in articles all over the world, they're in books that have been written. So if we got everything, you would be shocked how few names are there that haven't already been disclosed. The media hasn't, by the way, done a good enough job in finding the people who have been disclosed in the public record. So that's that list.
And the Daily Mail, by the way, is pointing out and reporting that the Justice Department will not be allowing Ghislaine Maxwell off the hook. She will remain in prison. Her lawyers argued and have been arguing that Epstein's plea deal back in 2008 meant that she herself should have never been put on trial. But again, the Justice Department disagrees. Also word that she is ready and willing to speak in front of Congress. But so far, nothing. And I would ask, of course, why not? This is a Democrat, Representative Ro Khanna. Here's what he has to say about it.
Mr. Speaker, I introduce today an amendment demanding the full release of the Epstein files. The Speaker's Rules Committee should demand a vote tomorrow of every member of Congress. Yes, we should release it, or no, we should not. This is a question of whose side are you on? Are you on the side of protecting the rich and the powerful who've put their thumb on the scales of government to suck out millions of dollars while working class Americans suffer? Or are you on the side of the people?
So you hear what's going on, right? So the Democrats, they clearly see that this is an issue within the Republican Party. And it really is. I mean, and I've been talking about this for a long time, where there is a clear divide. But, you know, for Ro Khanna and the Democrats, you know, where were you when you had the majorities in the House, the Senate? It was 50-50. Then you had Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker. You had Joe Biden in the White House. So where were you, Ro Khanna, when all of this was going on during the years of Joe Biden? I mean, it's a fair question to ask. The only reason the Democrats want this released now is because they're trying to fan the flames, right? They're trying to throw gasoline on the fire of this massive Republican train wreck. And it is a train wreck.
The Attorney General said on her desk was the Epstein file. And now she's saying, no, nothing to see. Don't release it. This is a question of trust. We need to release the Epstein files so we can restore government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And every member of Congress tomorrow should be forced to vote on this amendment.
So, and by the way, there is some late breaking news on this story for the people that want this information released. Well, it may just happen. We'll talk about that straight ahead. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. All right, very good. 6:16, Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather for today, high of 93, possible thunderstorms again. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So a couple of things going on with the Epstein files. This is something that the Republicans have always been angry about, and that is that America today, it does seem like there is no justice, right? So we have weak George Soros-type district attorneys who simply refuse to prosecute bad guys. We've had 4 years of Joe Biden and his illegal aliens coming into our country, committing crimes, then getting away with it. And now we have the Trump administration basically telling us nothing to see here, as all of these pedos, frankly, are getting away with passing around young girls. And no, I'm not forgetting about the accusations that this was some sort of a government blackmail operation dealing with Israel. So that is also out there. Now, Megyn Kelly, and I played this audio yesterday, there was Turning Point USA, big, massive event that they had in Tampa, Florida. And this was over the weekend, and Megyn Kelly was up there. And Megyn Kelly is all about putting the information out there, and she was up on stage.
Make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares.
A lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
Yeah, and so you had 7,000 people. And so one of the things that Megyn Kelly said is, listen, this is a situation that can very easily be remedied.
Come out and give a press conference. Stand there for 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions.
Yep.
That's how you put a scandal to rest. Mm-hmm. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo and whose name did and did not go on it and who it was and was not behind it.
That is, of course, Megyn Kelly speaking of Pam Bondi. By the way, so everybody was on Bongino watch. Remember this? Everybody's like, oh, Dan Bongino is going to quit, right? So apparently Bongino was in his office yesterday, and he was working on something very important, as Donald Trump said. So apparently Bongino and Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, they've all circled the wagons, it would appear, and they're all going to try to trudge forward. Now, what is the very latest on this? Well, the information may very well be made public. This is Benny Johnson, and he says that the attitude inside the White House has actually changed quite a bit.
Everything's changed. So I spent the entire afternoon talking with federal law enforcement sources, and everything has changed. The attitude towards full disclosure, towards a special counsel, towards Pam Bondi having a unlimited press conference and maybe a recurring press conference on this, towards various investigators going out with their work, towards the unsealing of all of the evidence that may be boring, maybe pedantic, but is something that the American public wants and is would be a promise kept by the Trump administration. All of that evidence is currently under seal in the Southern District of New York. It belongs to the DOJ. The DOJ can unseal it at any time. There's been a massive movement, Emily. I can report that on your show first and exclusively towards massive disclosure. And a lot of this is because of what happened this weekend in Tampa, Florida, where I live, with Student Action Summit, Turning Point USA, where you had the likes of everyone from Steve Bannon to Megyn Kelly to Tucker Carlson calling for these releases. I myself called for the release on stage, and the cheers were uproarious.
So there you go. And so maybe at some point, sometime soon, we'll either get unlimited press conferences, we'll get all of the info and all the intel just dumped onto a website. Maybe there will be a special counsel. We'll have to see what happens. But it does seem like the attitude is changing within the Trump administration. It is 6:21 on Nashville's Morning News. By the way, Democrats apparently are gunning for the 5th and the 7th congressional districts here in Middle Tennessee. We're going to talk about that straight ahead. Right now, Joan Jones has the news at 6:30. Joan.
So a new local school is being built without a critical system. Very interesting story here. And we also have some new details about a shooting at a Kentucky church that happened on Sunday. Those stories coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, here we are in the middle of summer, and that means it is moving season, a time filled with hours of packing, unpacking, and, of course, so much bubble wrap. But the first thing you should do when moving into your new home is make sure that the Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity. It is super quick and easy to set up. And then, of course, boom, you have great internet, reliable internet. You'll have your new home hooked up with the ultimate Wi-Fi experience faster than the time it takes to parallel park a moving truck. Then you'll be back online with the most reliable Wi-Fi with the best in-class equipment from Xfinity. So you can just kick back, relax, and stream your favorite movies and TV shows while someone else deals with all those boxes. Because with Xfinity, the only thing you have to worry about is remembering where you pack the remote. Make the right and easy move with Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/move. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Dan Mendes here, 623. You know, I've been talking about the Glock store for a long time because I've been a customer of the Glock store for a long time. This is where I go to buy my guns, and of course, it's where I did all my training as well. I upgraded my guns, too, all at the Glock store, and you should, too. Now, here's why. They carry all the Glocks, factory and custom Glocks, plus they've got the PBGs, you know, the plain black Glocks, at the lowest price possible. They've also got the factory-colored, competition-ready Glocks, collectible Glocks, custom Glocks, and, of course, the very popular Trump Glocks. And, again, upgrades. They've got a ton of upgrades. What I've done to my gun, red and green dot optics, updated triggers, and the lowest price on Glock magazines in the country. And the best part of this month's deals at the Glock store here in July, you buy a 10-round test pack, 9mm ammo for just $6.99, and you get to try any of their Glocks in the rental department, including the GOAT, the Glock 43X. That is the most popular concealed carry handgun in the country. Find them online, the Glock Store, shoot270.com and glockstore.com. That's my friends at the Glock Store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. 628, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so watch us on YouTube, Rumble, X, 997WTN.com, Facebook as well. Anyone will do, although I prefer that you go to YouTube so that you can take the Daily Dan poll, which, by the way, is now also on X. Yesterday, because I know, Joan, you were curious. Yesterday, the poll was grade POTUS 6 months in. 62% gave Donald Trump an A.
Okay, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, 30% gave Donald Trump a B. 5% gave Trump a C, and a D or an F, according to the people on my social media, gave Donald Trump an F. So now today's poll question is, the Democrats are gunning for the 5th and the 7th congressional districts in Tennessee. That complete story is coming up at 6:35. Do they have a chance at flipping these seats? 78% of you said no, according to my Twitter poll on X at Dan Mandis Show. 22% said yes. Now, real quickly, KGB, what are the people on YouTube saying?
Very different. 52% say yes to 48% no.
So that makes me feel better, because I was actually very worried that 78% said no on my X feed, because you know what happens when people are complacent, right? And this is going to be part of my story coming up, is that we need to make sure that in the 5th and the 7th, even if you're not a big fan of Andy Ogles, he's a lot better than anybody the Democrats have. So we're going to talk about that straight ahead, because right now the Democrats are gunning for the 5th and the 7th. They are going to put millions of dollars into these two races, and turnout is going to be key. Details straight ahead on WTN.
Good morning, 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Crews are now putting the final touches on a new elementary school in Lebanon. But when LaGuardo Elementary School opens in a few weeks, the sewage system will not be up and running. That's because the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation wanted more information before signing off on a permit. Chris Lober at Wilson County's Wastewater Authority.
It's a surprise on our end that they didn't approve it, but TDEC's the regulators, so they have the authority over what happens.
Yeah, when that school opens next month, school leaders will be pumping the sewage out of the building and into trucks that'll haul it away to a nearby treatment facility. New details about a shooting at a Kentucky church who had opened fire inside the church. He injured the pastor, killing the pastor's wife and a daughter. And he injured the daughter's husband. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The rampage began Sunday morning when House shot and injured a state trooper who had pulled him over. He fled, carjacked a vehicle, and drove to Richmond Road Baptist Church looking for the mother of his children.
He's like, "Where's Angel? I just want to speak to Angel. That's my sister." My mom was like, "Angel's not here." He's like, "Well, I guess someone's going to have to die then," and shot twice.
Police rushed to the scene and fatally shot the gunman. House had open warrants for his arrest and just 5 days ago was placed on the county sheriff's most wanted list.
Also, he's back at it again. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says he'll run for New York City mayor as an independent candidate.
Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it.
In a video posted to social media yesterday, Cuomo vowed to run against the socialist, some say communist, running as a Democrat, Zoran Mamdani. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thanks, Joan. 6:32 on Nashville's Morning News. The weather in Middle Tennessee, it can always get crazy. You never know when the power is going to go down, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. They are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Now, you can get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. They do feature expert installers. Financing is available, 24-hour monitoring as well. And listen, this is a great company, so you got to check them out, Generator Supercenter. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, 615-879-1952, 615. 6:34 on Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here for USS, United Structural Systems. I've been telling you for years about USS. They are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. I can tell you because I am a customer. This is a great company. They've helped me multiple times with my home. That is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. But listen, I'm just one of 30,000 satisfied customers. Listen to this recent review on Google. Guy says that USS, they were highly professional. The crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own home. And he does give USS 5 stars all the way, as do I. Now, United Structural Systems, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs. And you won't pay a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. By the way, they can help you with just a ton of stuff. But specifically, basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, and foundation repair. We guarantee our best. Call USS at 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, online anytime, USSTN.com.
There's a crash in Bellevue on Highway 70S at Sawyer Brown Road. Watch it there. Also, some volume delays picking up now on 24 on the westbound side. The Laverne area this morning looks especially slow. And you also have some delays heading in on 40 this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
How would you like to have Jesus Christ pray for you? Did you know that Jesus Christ does pray for you if you're a Christian? Hebrews 7:25 says, "Therefore he is able also to save forever those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them." In Scripture, intercession means to pray on behalf of. Jesus Christ is your advocate. An advocate comes to our aid or pleads our case to a judge, offering support and counsel and interceding for us when necessary. In other verses, Jesus calls the Holy Spirit our advocate. Just like you talk to yourself, when Jesus talks to himself, it's prayer. The Bible says no matter what you go through today, next week, or next year, Jesus is praying for you if you have trusted him as your Savior. He's on your side.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Yes, indeed, the Democrats are eyeing the 5th and the 7th congressional districts. Let's get into this because, and I know that this, some of y'all might be like, oh, this is so politically wonky. This is really important. The House of Representatives is really, really critical, and the Democrats are going to dump millions of dollars into these seats. The Nashville Banner writes that, yes, the Democrats even say that Tennessee could become a swing state. So just in the last several months, we've had Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Gavin Newsom, and Ilhan Omar all coming to Nashville because they want to flip these seats. This is from the Banner. I'm going to read just a little bit of it and then give you my perspective. Part of this influx comes from a guy named Ken Martin, the new DNC chair, who wants to redirect campaign money and resources to the South over the next decade. See, the problem is that for the Democrats is, the South, you've got a lot of Republicans here, but you also have a lot of these Democrats that have been moving to the states like Tennessee, states like Georgia, states like Florida as well. So they're thinking that if they have enough Democrats moving to these states, then they could try flipping some of those congressional seats. And the Democrats want to drop a bunch of money into the state of Tennessee. They say Tennessee's sudden relevance with national Democrats stems from a pair of potentially flippable congressional seats on the ballot over the next year and a half and census data that centers the South in future presidential elections. This guy Martin says we cannot keep ignoring states like Tennessee. If we do, we're going to be on the wrong side of things. So they're looking at flipping the 7th, which, of course, Mark Green's district, and the 5th, which is Andy Ogle's district. The Banner writes this about the 7th. The Republicans' big, beautiful bill, which passed this month, slashing Medicaid, SNAP, and other federal resources, they say, may tip the scales even further towards Democrats as Trump loses ground with low-income voters and all of the Republicans to join the race for Green's 7th district seat so far are Trump loyalists. So I don't know if Donald Trump is losing ground with low-income voters. And I don't know if the Nashville Banner, I don't know, is the Nashville Banner, Joan, you ever read it? I don't know if the Nashville Banner is actually, tilts to the left or whatever. Somebody told me somewhere that it actually used to, anyway, lean more to the right. But that's all beside the point. Donald Trump losing ground with low-income voters, I just don't know if that's true. But I think you do have some good conservatives running in the 7th Congressional District. I mean, I've had several of them on my show. So good conservatives running in the 7th. Each and every one, by the way, are loyalists to Donald Trump. The reason I would say the Nashville Banner, I think they're a little off the mark on this, is because Donald Trump within the Republican Party is extremely popular. And there's a lot of Republicans in the 7th. Mark Green won by, I'm not going to call it a landslide, but he really won handily there in the 7th Congressional District. Now, the Democrats that are running, Afton Bain and Bo Mitchell, so far, both from Nashville, announcing their candidacy for the seat. There will no doubt be others on both sides. And by the way, there's, I'm sure, a lot of other folks running for the 7th. I've interviewed 3 of them, and I know that Murphy Show, I think he has some on as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But bottom line is here for turnout is everything. Do not get complacent. Because as you know, the House of Representatives is critical. And we get a couple of, we let them flip a couple of seats here in Tennessee because we don't want to turn out, because we're mad at the Epstein files not being released. Because that's what people are saying. This is why the Democrats are making such a big deal about the Epstein files, because they know that there are some people on our side of the aisle, on the Republican side of the aisle, that are going to say, oh, heck no, I'm not going to go out and vote in the midterm elections. They didn't release the Epstein files, right? I mean, there's people that actually have that mentality. I hope that you're not one of them. Because while I do understand that you may be angry and upset that we haven't, gotten the Epstein files released, think about what the Democrats will do. Think about the open borders. Think about the rampant crime. Think about all of the things that Joe Biden and the Democrats did when they had the power. I understand being upset about the Epstein files. We'll have to see where that whole thing goes. But this is why the Democrats are talking about this. This is why the Democrats are making such a big deal about this, because ultimately what they're trying to do with their rhetoric on the Epstein files is suppress the vote in the midterm elections. Andy Ogles, 5th Congressional District. Andy, of course, has had his fair share of controversies. Here's what this guy Martin says about that. We're looking for authenticity, being bold, being unapologetic, and fighting for something, not fighting against something, Martin says. Boy, that sounded like a big old cliche, doesn't it? This is, they say in Nashville Banner, this is doubly true in Tennessee's 5th Congressional District, where Democrats are planning to target Representative Andy Ogles in his regular election next year. They say that Ogles has done everything but focus on that, Martin says, condemning Ogles for losing touch with his district. I don't know if he's lost touch with his district, because, I mean, I've called him a kiss ass a couple of times, but he is still extremely conservative. Guy says it's never easy in a district like the 5th, but it is certainly easier with someone like Andy Ogles, who has completely put his oath and fealty to Donald Trump ahead of the people that elected him. I don't believe that's true. I mean, you can say, all right, come on, dude. Really? Trump isn't even done with his second term yet, and you want to put him up there on Mount Rushmore? Or, you know, give Donald Trump a third term? Come on, right? I mean, that's what I mean. It's a little ridiculous to me. So I have had my issues with Ogles, but I think here's the deal. Anything that Andy Ogles is going to do is going to be far better than the Democrats. I mean, that is absolutely the case. Because you know what? Thing about Andy is he also voted incredibly conservative and is someone who defends Donald Trump at every turn. That's not a bad thing. And I'd rather have Ogles in there clearly than some knuckle-dragging Democrat who clearly we have no idea what they're going to do, but obviously it would be anti-Donald Trump at every turn. So Ogles has been consistent, if nothing else. And so I appreciate the conservatism. I could deal with a bit less of the, arse kissing. But if the Democrats think that that is a flippable seat, if Andy Ogles is the candidate, and I haven't heard of anybody who is going to come out. I don't think, has anybody come out, Joan? Do you know this? Has anybody come out on the Republican side and said that they're going to actually primary Andy Ogles? I know that there's been a lot of talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that anybody has actually come out and said that they're going to do that. And I think part of that is, Donald Trump. I mean, clearly Ogles is going to have, in my opinion now, maybe I'm wrong, but going to have a lot of people that are going to look at the fact that Ogles clearly will end up getting Trump's endorsement. And for the state of Tennessee, I think that is something that absolutely will work in Ogles' favor. Got a little bit more on this straight ahead. Oh, by the way, coming up, the Democrats have no place to talk about the Republicans losing support. Have you folks looked in the mirror, Democrats? Well, we know Afton Bain does. 6:46, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather for today, a high of 93, possible thunderstorms as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So I love how, because there's all kinds of articles out there right now about how they say that Donald Trump is deeply unpopular. I don't know if you've seen that, but that is really the narrative these days, is that the deep unpopularity of Donald Trump could spell doom for the Republicans in the midterm elections. And I'm sorry, but I just don't see it. I mean, they can dream, but he does remain very popular in the Republican Party. Donald Trump does. Now, I do believe that the Epstein thing, it is serious, but not enough, in my opinion, not enough to destroy the party. It could have impacts in the House of Representatives, and that is what I'm worried about. Because if you have a bunch of folks who came out to vote for Donald Trump, for the first time, his second run, and they're going to be like, well, you know what? I didn't get the Epstein files, so I'm just not going to bother to come out in the midterm elections. That's going to be a disaster. Because if you, again, want to relive what happened the last time the Democrats had the House of Representatives, they're going to try to impeach Donald Trump, and everything will come screeching to a halt. That's what we cannot let happen. So if you're one of these folks that you're angry about, the release of the Epstein files or the non-release of the Epstein files, and you're not going to come out for the midterm elections, I would ask you to think about the consequences of losing the House of Representatives. There are many real-world consequences to the Democrats gaining control of the House. It's not that far in the distance that we don't remember those open borders, that high inflation rate, the weakness of Joe Biden. And by the way, let's also not forget that the Democrat Party's approval rating right now, according to a new poll, is at like 40%. Republicans are a lot higher. This is from The Hill, a Harvard Caps Harris poll released yesterday found that only 4 in 10 respondents approved of the job that the Democrat Party is doing. By comparison, the same Harvard Caps Harris poll found the GOP with a 48% approval rating, which, by the way, listen to this, includes 85% of Republicans and 38% of independent and other voters who had that sentiment. In other words, the media can try to convince people that Donald Trump and the big, beautiful bill is deeply unpopular, but I just don't believe that that is true. We know that the Democrats try to influence elections, midterm and otherwise, midterm and presidential. We know that they try to manipulate it through their reporting and suppression polls and so forth. But the biggest point is this. Among Democrats, they say that their party is weak, is rudderless, has no leaders. 85% of Republicans approve of what that party is doing. Do you know who sees that? Barack Obama, who said this over the weekend, according to CNN.
He told donors this over the weekend. Quote, I think it's going to require a little bit less navel gazing and a little less whining and being in fetal positions, Obama said, according to excerpts of his remarks exclusively obtained by CNN. And it's going to require Democrats to just toughen up.
Well, part of the reason why the Democrat Party is in the state that it's in is because Joe Biden was so incredibly weak. And let's not forget that Barack Obama endorsed Joe Biden. So one of the things that I keep saying is the Democrats, they have their reflective Trump derangement syndrome, right? I keep talking about this reflexive Trump derangement syndrome. And it puts them at odds with the vast majority of the American people, talking about border security, mass deportation, and so forth. I mean, believe it or not, even Mark Cuban gets it. He's been saying this, and this has been something that has been a familiar conversation with Mark Cuban over the years.
It's just Trump sucks. That's the underlying, thought of everything the Democrats do. Trump sucks. Trump says, the sky is blue. Trump sucks. You can't, that's not the way to win. It's just not, because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them.
That is absolute truth, and he is spot on. That is, of course, Mark Cuban. Now, watch us on YouTube, Rumble, X, 997WTN.com, and Facebook as well. Any listening app, any app that is out there, you got your TuneIn app, you've got your iHeartRadio app, you, of course, have the WTN app as well. If you want to watch us, you can take the Daily Dan poll as well. Follow me on X at Dan Manda Show. And we do have Senator Bill Hagerty. He is coming up after the news at 7 right here on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. 6:52, and Joan Jones has the news at 7. Joan.
Yeah, coming up, President Trump shifting Ukraine policy, and we've got a measure of inflation coming out in a half hour, what it's doing to the stock futures this morning. That's all ahead at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.653 Nashville's Morning News. Listen, if you are a lake lover, listen up. Dan Mandis here. Tennessee National Lakefront Resort, Golf and Marina Community. They are releasing a brand new phase of lake lots, one day only. That is coming up on July 26th. Now, listen to these prices. This is important. Cottage packages with a boat slip starting at $359.9. 1.5-acre lots with covered boat slips, they're starting at $99.9. And move-in ready homes with free upgraded outdoor kitchens, you got $30,000 off. Now, the amenities for Tennessee National, they are incredible. Private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails, 3.5 miles of shoreline, a brand new 26,000 square foot clubhouse. They've got pickleball courts, they've got swimming pools, on-site coffee shops, and a whole lot more. So, play on the lake or simply relax at the waterfront restaurant. This is just over 20 minutes from Knoxville, Tennessee, and financing is available. So come on out, enjoy life on the water with fresh air and boat rides and sunshine. Celebrate the lake life and make memories happen with Tennessee National. Don't forget that limited property release is happening on Saturday, July 26th. Call them, set up your appointment, your private tour, 865-408-9992, 865-408-9992. Find them online anytime, TennesseeNational.com. $6:55, Dan Mandis here, Specialty Coatings. Listen, if you own a business and your floors look terrible, concrete floors with my friends at Specialty Coatings, they can help you immensely. Now, listen, if your floors are a mess, well, then guess what? That is a reflection on your business. Specialty Coatings, they can help you. They specialize in concrete floor coatings and polished concrete. Now, they've been doing this for over 30 years. You've probably walked on some of their incredible concrete floor coatings. They've done the floors in all the major sports stadiums and arenas and convention centers across the great state of Tennessee. Just last year, Specialty Coatings in Nashville, they installed over 1 million square feet of coatings for businesses across Tennessee. That's right, 1 million square feet. Now, those buildings include manufacturing, warehouses, airplane hangars, retail, and a lot more. This is a company that is going to do a great job because they've got the equipment and the skilled installers. Some of these other companies don't. So your job with Specialty Coatings is going to be done on time and on budget. No matter how bad your floor looks, Specialty Coatings can fix it. Each project is customized to your building, your business, and your needs. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-591-9491, 615-591-9491. You can email them, sales@specialtycoat.com. The email address, I should say the website, specialtycoat.com.
Jesus came to earth the first time to save the world. The next time he comes will be to condemn the world and those who have refused to accept him as their Lord and Savior. Christians are co-heirs with Christ and possess full rights as sons and inherit salvation, eternal life, the earth, the kingdom of God, and all things. If you're not a Christian and have wondered about eternal life, God may be drawing you. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, for only God can save you.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what you've ever done.
But what about?
No matter what you've ever done.
Even if?
You are no longer condemned, no matter what you have ever done. Non-cancelable, guaranteed reservation in heaven when you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Learn how now.
6:58 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. A lot of great comments on the Super Text line. Thank you. Please keep them coming. 615-737-9986. 5203 out of Georgia. I don't care about the Epstein list. Releasing it doesn't impact how I pay my bills, whether I can eat or if I have a job. We have bigger fish to fry. Nolene says this: the Epstein files have zero impact on our day-to-day lives. This is a choose your battles issue. Trump has earned the benefit of the doubt for all he's accomplished for us so far. These new anti-Trumpers need to grow the F up, says Nolene. The only thing missing is them throwing themselves on the floor, feet kicking and fist pounding, crying. Give us the Epstein files, Nolene says. Cry bullies is what she's calling them. Cry bullies. Everybody's got an opinion on this one. It is 7 o'clock. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Watch yourself this morning on 40 westbound before Stewart's Ferry Pike. Got an accident that's taking out the right shoulder there, and police are out there. It looks like it's causing quite a delay. President Trump has threatened Russia with steep tariffs if there's not a deal to end the war with Ukraine in the next 50 days. The move highlights Trump's growing frustration with Vladimir Putin over his nightly bombardments of Ukrainian cities and his refusal to end the war. White House senior trade advisor Peter Navarro told ABC News that the tariffs would be slapped on top of existing sanctions.
Russia, China, Iran, other countries have made a concerted effort to figure out workarounds around the sanctions. So a combination of sanctions and tariffs will be a much more powerful disincentive to Russia to continue its seemingly unrelenting war on Ukraine.
President Trump is also sending Ukraine Patriot air defense missiles to help fend off those attacks from Russia. A former priest from a Franklin church has pleaded guilty to several child sex abuse charges. Juan Carlos Mendoza will serve 7 years in a federal prison. He had been an associate pastor at St. Philip Catholic Church when he was indicted. After he serves time, Mendoza will have to register as a sex offender, and he'll be placed on community supervision for the rest of his life. A family in Smyrna heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 on Saturday morning. And today that family is once again pleading with the public for any information that'll help find the suspect. Channel 4 says Noah Taylor's mom lives just 15 minutes away from where he died. She and the rest of the family are devastated.
He had actually came and spent the night with us the night before. And he got up in the morning. He was getting ready for work. And I'm grateful and thankful that the last words that I got to hear from him was, "I love you, Mom."
The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone who is driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit Saturday morning between 7 and 8 o'clock to check any car cameras they may have and to share any video that may help identify the suspect. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. In just a half hour, the June reading of the Consumer Price Index comes out. That's a measure of inflation. Wall Street is betting that the inflation rate has accelerated in June due to the tariffs. Now, Dow futures right now are a minus 54, but the NASDAQ futures gaining 121, and the S&P futures are up 20 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. There is a stalled out pickup truck on 24 westbound right now at Bell Road, and it's taking out the left lane. The second left lane is blocked off by it, and you've got a big delay around it as well this morning. Again, that's on westbound 24 at Bell Road, exit 59. Careful in that area. I-40 westbound side at Stewart's Ferry Pike. Got a crash there that takes out the right shoulder, and a crash as well in Bellevue on Highway 70S at Sawyer Brown Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to get right to the Newsmaker Hotline. Say hello and good morning to Senator Bill Hagerty. Senator, always great to have you on. There's so much in the news today. One of the things I find fascinating, and I just got done talking about in the previous hour, how the Democrats are targeting the 7th and the 5th districts here in Tennessee, those congressional seats. Of course, you know, Mark Green has retired. The other seat is Andy Ogles. Democrats are targeting them here in Tennessee, thinking they can flip them. One of the things that they are saying is that Donald Trump is, and I'm going to air quote this, deeply unpopular, especially when it comes to the big, beautiful bill. You and I both know, Senator, there are a lot of wins for the middle class in this bill, extending the tax cuts, of course, increasing the child tax credit, and reducing taxes for tips and overtime pay. Are you getting, from your vantage point as the junior senator for the state of Tennessee, that this is a deeply unpopular bill?
No, I'm not. What you're hearing and what you're reciting, frankly, are just Democrat and partisan media talking points.
Yep.
And they've launched these talking points for months, even before we had the full construct of the bill put together. You can just hear the Democrats shrill, ringing their pearls and basically saying millions of people are going to die and this is terribly unpopular, et cetera, et cetera. When we see the impact of this move its way through the economy, it's going to be extraordinarily popular for the American economy and for most people in the middle class. If you think about it, Dan, the opportunity here to see our economy thrive is being translated right now into the stock market, all-time highs. The U.S. stock market is a forward-looking vehicle, but what we're seeing is a stock market that's on fire. The economy is going to be on fire, and I think we're going to be in a much better place come election time in 2026. So these shrill moves by the Democrats may help them raise money from certain disaffected people that are, they're still sore about their loss back in 2024. But President Trump is moving forward, and we're here to support him. And this big, beautiful bill has got a lot of incentive for capital investment. And Dan, as you well know, that capital investment will beget more jobs will beget more economic activity. That greater economic activity puts more money in the pockets of middle America, and it also generates more tax revenues, which will help us decrease the deficit. None of that's being captured here. None of it.
One of the things that I always appreciate your opinion on, Senator Bill Hagerty, is foreign policy. Trump administration, of course, the president announcing a new weapons package through NATO for Ukraine, 100% tariffs on Russian goods and secondary sanctions on other countries as well that buy Russian imports. What are your thoughts on this? This is clearly a different situation than Biden simply giving Ukraine all of that weaponry. This is now going to be purchased through NATO.
It's absolutely different. I was just on television on Mornings with Maria, talking to Maria Bartiromo about this very issue that you raised, Dan. And if you think about how different it is, it's night and day. President Trump is actually utilizing European stockpiles. He's going to deplete their stockpiles, not our own. This is the way Joe Biden handled it, depleting American stockpiles, bypassing Europe. No, the Europeans are far more proximate to the risk. They're the ones that ought to be stepping up. So what they're going to do is deplete their stockpiles, support Ukraine, then Europeans are going to buy from America. So he gets a twofer in terms of getting more aid, more military aid, lethal military aid to the Ukrainians via Europe, and he gets Europeans taking, investing more in America, creating greater output for our defense production capabilities, and most importantly, he's taking the American taxpayer out of the equation. The other thing that he announced was a 50-day timeline, meaning Vladimir Putin's got 50 days to bring this to a close. I think all you need to do, Dan, is ask the Iranians what President Trump's timelines mean. You remember they crossed the 60-day timeline, and Israel hit them on day 61. President Trump means business. He's demonstrated his resolve. So I think this two-step motion of basically putting in place, a timeline and also a vehicle to step up Ukrainian capabilities is going to demonstrate U.S. resolve to Vladimir Putin. President Trump is tired of dealing with him. He's tired of this dance, and he's ready to bring it to an end. And Vladimir Putin's got 50 days to figure this out.
I know that there is a bill floating around in the Senate that would allow the president to actually impose 500% tariffs on any country that helps Russia. What do you think of that kind of a situation? Would you approve of such a deal?
Here's the issue. I approve of giving the president whatever tools he needs to deal with Russia, but I want the president to be the one on the front lines calling those shots. When I worked in his prior administration, I was on the front lines with him dealing with Iranian sanctions. What I want to do is be supportive from the Senate, from the House, from the legislative branch, but I don't want to get ahead of him. So I think the public knows. I think Putin knows that we have this in our arsenal. We have this quiver in our capabilities here. But I think we need to let the president lead this negotiation. He's the one that's been able to put us on a completely different footing on so many of these situations. Just look at the Middle East. Let's let him lead, and let's be prepared to follow in full force as needed.
One of the things I find fascinating about politics, of course, is, Democrat versus Republican and all those kinds of things. But one of the things that I find interesting, I spoke with a guy the other day about bipartisanship and wanting to find bipartisanship. And at the risk of leading the witness, I've got to ask, I mean, you're there in Washington, D.C., you're in the Senate, you're watching things. Is there any real possibility of Republicans reaching across the aisle to the Democrats who have been plotting our demise for like years now? It just doesn't seem like this is something that would actually even really be, depending on the topic, in our best interest.
Well, it depends on the subject. I'll tell you this: we've had a tremendous bipartisan victory with the stablecoin legislation that I designed last year, and we brought it to the floor through a major battle with Elizabeth Warren. By the way, she's definitely opposed to it, but it's called the Genius Act. It's going to move through the House of Representatives this week. It should be on the president's desk by the end of the week. I expect him to sign it on Friday, and that is the result of solid bipartisan work. Again, this takes America's digital currency and puts us on a regulatory path of clarity. It actually will allow crypto technology to thrive here in America. I'm not talking about more speculative bitcoins here. I'm talking about stable coins, which are dollar-denominated digital assets that are backed dollar for dollar by U.S. Treasury securities. So what does that do? It basically moves our payment system into the 21st century, takes us off of the clunky system that was designed back in the 1970s and 80s. It takes, as you know, Dan, 5 to 10 days to clear, particularly if it's an overseas transaction. That clearing happens almost instantaneously when you move it over to the blockchain. And what that does is that 5 to 10 days of working capital that's tied up in receivables and waiting to get paid immediately flows back to the entrepreneurs and businesses here in America. They can deploy that money, put it back into the economy, put it to work. That's positive. It also stimulates demand for U.S. Treasury securities. And I'd much rather have, independent stablecoin issuers owning Treasury securities than countries like China and Japan, which right now are the predominant owners. And finally, it extends dollar dominance across the world because most people would rather do digital transactions in U.S. dollars than any other currency. Had we set this one out, I think we ran the risk of having the Europeans and the Chinese take over. President Trump's going to sign this bill today that I led. Yep. That is going to be bipartisan and is going to take us into the 21st century in a way that's going to be very positive for America. So it's possible. It's absolutely possible.
And I want to talk to you a little bit more about this, Senator. And by the way, yes, kudos to you. You got Kirsten Gillibrand on board and, of course, a Democrat. And also Tim Scott, you were the primary sponsor. I've got some questions about, number one, what Elizabeth Warren, what her problems or her issues were. And also, I want a little bit more clarification. I mean, just because I don't think people really truly understand what a stablecoin is. And I think this stuff is fascinating. So I'm gonna ask you for a couple more questions here. Hold on, though. Got to check the roads very quickly on WTN. As far as your weather today, high of 93, possible thunderstorms as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News, and we do have Senator Bill Hagerty joining us. The Genius Act, your bill, and this stable coin. It's the Genius Act is the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act of 2025. And so basically what these stablecoins are is this is sort of an online currency, and it is backed by the U.S. dollar. That's correct?
By U.S. Treasuries or cash. But the important thing is, Dan, that it's stable. When it says stable coin, that means it's stable. It's not speculative. That means the value is pegged to the U.S. dollar. Mm-hmm. So it only moves with the dollar, and it's secured, again, as you mentioned, dollar for dollar with U.S. Treasury securities or in certain cases cash. But it's got to be completely backed, which makes it solid, which makes it transparent, and also makes it a currency that is going to be much more efficient and effective as it moves across these electronic payment highways. And again, I mentioned earlier that the system that we use today here in America to clear payments was designed back in the 1970s and 80s. It's relatively clunky compared to anything else today. And the new blockchain technology, far more secure, far more efficient and fast. So this is going to take a lot of cost out of the system. It's going to take working capital that's otherwise tied up waiting. If you're running a small business, you'd rather get paid instantaneously rather than wait 10 days. And heaven forbid that the counterparty that you're waiting to get the payment from went bankrupt in the process. This takes a lot of risk out of the system, and it also takes a lot of cost out of the system. So very positive. Again, it makes it much easier to use the U.S. dollar as we move into the digital economy. And I think what it's going to do, Dan, is make the dollar, again, at the forefront of reserve currencies in the world. And it's also going to stimulate demand for U.S. Treasuries to back up these dollars. And with more demand for U.S. Treasuries, that's going to lower the price, meaning lowering the rate. That's going to be good for everybody that's in the market trying to borrow money here in America, particularly the U.S. government.
So I spend a good part of the morning reading about this. I'm going to be honest with you, Senator. It is a little mind-numbing, but I think I got it because it does all make sense. Elizabeth Warren, though, does have her concerns, and she says it's about, I'm going to air quote this, consumer protections. But I didn't really find any real details as to what her direct concerns were. So what are the pushback, or what has been the pushback to this deal?
Here is the real concern. Elizabeth Warren led the charge. She's been opposing me at every step of the way. She fought me tooth and nail in the banking committee. She is the ranking Democrat, the most senior Democrat on the banking committee. And for 4 hours, she went back and forth with me trying to take this bill down. It didn't work. I actually brought half of her Democrats over with me, who voted with all the Republicans, to move this out of the Senate Banking Committee and put it on the floor. She's been fighting it tooth and nail since then as well. But the reason that she doesn't like it, I think at its very core, Dan, is the fact that this is a decentralized currency, meaning issuers can do this that are not the federal government. What she wants is a centralized digital currency, meaning that the federal government issues the currency, that all transactions flow through the federal government, that the federal government has visibility on every transaction. And just think about what we've seen with Operation Choke Point, Operation Choke Point 2.0. Dan, what could go wrong if the federal government had access and control of every one of our transactions? Well, just ask the Chinese, because this is exactly how the Chinese Communist Party does it. They have a central bank digital currency. This seems to be what Elizabeth Warren wanted. And by virtue of passing the stablecoin legislation, she will never get it, because this is, by definition, decentralized, and it will never be passed through as a centralized source like the federal government.
All right, so the big question is, it's going to be voted on in the House this week. You say President Trump is going to sign it. Is it going to get through the House?
Every conversation I'm having with my friends in the House, look, we're working it hard. There are always issues trying to navigate a complex environment like this, but I think it's going to move through the House. President Trump is ready to sign it. We've already scheduled a signing ceremony for Friday, so I think we're going to be in a good place.
All right, Senator, always great to speak with you. Time always flies when I'm speaking to you, and have a great rest of the week.
Dan. All the best. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Senator Bill Hagerty there on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Yeah, Joan, I don't know, Joan, if you saw me this morning at about 4:37, my head was in my hands, and I'm staring at the computer trying to understand what the heck these stable coins are.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? It believe it or not, it makes a lot of sense. And I do get what Senator Hagerty is looking to do. And I think that it probably will pass the House of Representatives. The thing that I love most about that entire story is how he was able to drag a whole bunch of Democrats with him in a rare sign of bipartisanship. And oh, that had to tick off Elizabeth Warren.
Yes.
Instead of
Which just gives you a little bit of pleasure, doesn't it?
Well, instead of the smoke signals that are always around her, the smoke was probably coming out of her ears.
Yeah.
That's what I said. All right, it is a 7:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We do have a lot more straight ahead, including some illegal immigration. That is, of course, in the news almost every single day, and a whole lot more. By the way, don't forget Victoria Coates, foreign policy analyst with the Heritage Foundation, going to talk all about the nuts and bolts of what is going on with Donald Trump and Ukraine and Russia. A great story this morning. All of that straight ahead on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones is in the WTN newsroom, and she's got the latest at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, Dan, Ghislaine Maxwell says she's holding a get-out-of-jail-free card, and she wants the Supreme Court to help her use it. And all that hot and wet weather is leading to a scary little creature invading your home. All of that and more coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:21, want to tell you about my friends at Loan Pronto. If you're maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. You get cash out right now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, and no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto, it is amazing. Now, one Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved. In under 24 hours, they paid off debt, they renovated their kitchen, and they cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Now, that is a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto means instant approvals, low rates, and no hard credit pull up front. Now, your home equity, it is yours, and you should use it to get yourself in a better financial position. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call them, tell them Dan Mann just told you to reach out. By the way, they've got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and they've got nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780. Get debt relief right now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Unapproved credit. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. $7:24, Nashville's Morning News, Window Nation. Listen, these folks are an amazing window company. This is my window company. They put 4 windows in my home, and if you're thinking about new windows, you've got to check out Window Nation. It is really hot, of course, as you know. High of 93 today, at least. Make sure the cool air is staying in and the hot air is staying out with Window Nation. These are some of the best energy-saving windows money can buy, and they're installed in a day or less. Their crews all have years of experience, and if you want to increase the value of your home, call Window Nation. They've got a great deal going on right now. Save 50% off all window styles, and you can save big time with 0 interest for 5 years. Seriously, no interest until 2030. Now, this sale is going to end soon, so call Window Nation, 866-90-NATION, for Window Nation, 866-90-NATION, and schedule a fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation. And don't forget that great deal, Tell them Dan told you to reach out and save 50% off all window styles. And you can save big time with 0% interest for 5 years. No interest until 2030. Again, tell them Dan told you to reach out at 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. $7:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't know why I'm surprised by this, but Ben Shapiro is getting skewered online, Joan.
Why?
Do you know what he said?
What did he say?
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, he says, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem.
Well, that may be Ben's nice opinion, but I personally don't really care.
Right.
I want to sit in the rocking chair and sip lemonade.
People are saying, yeah, this sounds reasonable if you sit behind a microphone for a living.
Right.
If you've been roofing or plumbing or throwing freight since you were 18 years old, the argument here sounds insane. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these influencers lately, man, I don't know what is influencing their thinking. But, from Tucker to Charlie Kirk and now Ben Shapiro, I think they're starting to lose their ever-loving minds. It is 7:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It's now 7:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Ghislaine Maxwell wants her conviction overturned, and she's been asking the Supreme Court to review her case. Well, Maxwell says she was protected from prosecution by a clause in Jeffrey Epstein's agreement with prosecutors in Florida back in 2007. The Department of Justice is urging the Supreme Court to reject her appeal. It's led by U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer. A Coffee County Sheriff's deputy has been fired after a drunken fight with police officers over the weekend. Police were called to Sportscom in Murfreesboro on Saturday, and that's where several people were holding down 32-year-old Miles White. WSMV4's Tracy Cornett.
They said he briefly struggled with officers. He was charged with public intoxication, resisting arrest, and assaulting a first responder. The Coffee County Sheriff's Office says White was off duty at the time. They fired him after his arrest.
White was booked into the Rutherford County Detention Center on an $11,000 bond. Well, all the hot and wet weather is making for perfect conditions for a dangerous spider. Jeff Williams with Integrity Pest Control tells WSMV4 that he's seeing more brown recluse spiders, which head indoors during the hot and wet weather.
Clutter, boxes, those are great homes for spiders and other insects as well. One is too many in most cases.
Yeah, brown recluse spider bites are rarely deadly, but they can cause tissue damage if that bite is not treated. He says glue traps are your friend.
Back of the leg still itchy, by the way, Joan.
And is it swollen?
I haven't looked at it since this morning.
Yeah.
But for folks that missed the 5 o'clock hour, Joan was talking about this story, and I'm thinking that I may have been bitten by a brown recluse, because I fell asleep in the basement where there's a lot of boxes.
Yes.
And we've had that hot and wet weather.
Uh-huh.
And so I've got this itch on the back of my left leg, and it's driving me crazy. And I'm wondering if I got bitten by a brown recluse.
And so it would be a great idea to go, see a doctor today and find out.
I think I'm okay. I went outside to try to climb the building, see if I could scale the building,
Right.
And I can't do it.
And nothing's coming out of your wrist?
Yeah, I've been doing the whole Spider-Man thing, and nothing's coming out.
Just see urgent care after this, please, for all of our sakes.
I thought I was the mom of the show.
Well,
Anyway.
if he's gone, we're out of the job.
Yeah, that's actually not true. That's not true, KGB.
All right. Well, we're still going to hope you're okay.
Yes, whether I'm living or not. No, I think that I'll be fine. But I'm kind of laughing at KGB. We'll be out of a job if no, that's not the way that it works.
No, don't worry. We'll still have your voice in the hotkeys forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Long after I'm gone, my voice will live on with all the stupid things I've said over the years. All right, it is 7:33 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My upstairs bathtub, it does have holes in it. You people keep laughing at me. Here's the thing. It does have holes in it. It is ugly. It needs a lot of work. And I've got the company that can help you if you've got a bathtub that looks as bad as mine. Zintex. Now, if you've got a bathtub that needs some help, they have been in business since 2001. They are here to help you. Now, Zintex, they can remodel your shower, your bathtub. They can even convert your bathtub into a walk-in shower. Now, these types of home improvements, they can increase the value of your home, and Zintex can have it wrapped up in a day. Now, they are an award-winning company that offers lifetime limited warranties for both their products and their installation. You can make your bathroom safer with a walk-in shower complete with grab bars and a bench seat. This is a great way to help the older folks in your life who need that assist and support. So fix, remodel, or convert your tub into a shower today with Zintex. That phone number, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 629-258-7747. They've got a great deal, by the way, going on right now. You mentioned me and WTN, you get $1,750 off or no interest for 24 months, whichever works best for you. And no payments for 2 years. Zintex, Zintex.com. 7:35, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Listen, I've been using this company for over a decade. This is a company that I've loved, and their mission is to provide great service and save you money. Every month, they've got reasons or ways to save you money. So this month, here in the month of July, save big time on Busy Bee's smart Wi-Fi water shutoff valve. Only $12.49 this month. You buy a whole new HVAC system, you get a free air duct fogging and UV light home treatment. If you have plumbing problems, you can save $1,000 off whole home water and drain line replacements. Listen, the savings go on and on. Check them out for yourself. They've got them all at busybeehvac.com. By the way, if you need some financing, how about 0% for 18 months with approved credit? Payments as low as $100 a month. Check them out online, busybeehvac.com, 615-775-7833.
Okay, so we have some troubles this morning. West End, Charlotte Avenue at 28th Avenue. That is the scene of a crash this morning. 40 westbound past Spence Lane, exit 213. You've got a crash there as well, and the left shoulder is blocked off. They're still doing widening work between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Louisville Highway, exit 98, as you're traveling along 65 this morning, and that seems to be causing some delays as well. And then at the merge of 24 and 65. Watch for lots of slowing. That looks like normal delays. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Seven 7:38, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN 9901. I knew I shouldn't have done this, Joan. I did a callback. You know what a callback is, folks? So real radio professionals don't do callbacks. Callback is you mention something that you did earlier in the show, but you don't really give it the full context that you did the first time around. So I mentioned what in the world is wrong with all of these influencers, because I believe that some of these influencers are losing their ever-loving minds. And I did mention Tucker Carlson. I spoke about that quite a bit yesterday. Don't need to go backwards on that. I did mention Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
Ben Shapiro, yeah. People shouldn't be allowed to, shouldn't be retiring, whatever it was that he said. And Charlie Kirk. So I did talk about this. I did mention this. I'll go ahead and mention it one time again, where he is talking about how he is dropping the Epstein discussion from his show. This is what he said.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine.
All right, so two things jumped out at me. Number one is he called the people in the administration his friends. You're never friends with the people, and far be it from me to tell Charlie Kirk how to do his job. But, I mean, you don't call it. I'm uncomfortable with anybody saying, well, my friends in the administration, I trust them to do their job. Really? Okay. Well, if that's how you roll, cool. And again, I'm not coming down on Charlie Kirk. Dude, is a lot more popular than I am, but it just feels weird. It just feels weird to say, I'm going to let my friends in the administration handle it. So, but that's what Charlie Kirk did. And I had my say on that earlier. I don't believe that politicians that we cover, I don't believe that they are our friends. And you certainly don't trust them to do anything. You've got part of our job is to call them out when we believe that, they've done wrong. And so that is what Charlie Kirk did. And I think some of these influencers are, I think a lot of people don't know how to deal with this whole Epstein thing. I don't think that they do. I think that even CNN is running with this story that that the Trump administration is trying to tell the people within the administration to let this whole Epstein thing die down. That is what, and I just looked up at CNN. They've got choice for 2024 GOP nominee. They've got Harry Enton.
You sounded like by there for a second. You went,
Yeah, no, I know. I'm reading. I love Harry Enton, and he's got this thing. Choice for 2024 GOP nominee, Donald Trump. Registered GOP voters by belief that Biden's 2020 win was not legit. If you voted for Donald Trump in 2024, 67% of you believe that Biden's 2020 win was not legit. 16% say that it was legit of people that voted for Donald Trump for 2024. Can I ask a question? Why are they doing this? Like, what benefit is it to CNN to regurgitate 2020 yet again?
You know what they're doing.
Are they, okay, here's my thing, Joan. Are they sucking wind so bad that they're going to relitigate January 6th all over again? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, if you want to do that, bring it on.
Yeah.
Because I can compare January 6th and that, what happened on that day and that whole thing. We can talk about that and then compare it to Joe Biden and the absolute astounding cover-up that we saw during his administration. So if you jackholes on the left, if this is really what you want to do, is you want to start relitigating 2020 yet again and start hounding us again about January 6th and the insurrection and all that kind of stuff. If you want to start comparing notes and comparing who actually did the worst thing, people during 2020 and that whole January 6th thing, or the absolute astounding cover-up that we saw with Joe Biden and his cognitive decline, I can do that all day long. What is it the kids say? What is it Chris Hand always says? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Hakeem Jeffries is out there saying, Americans deserve to know the truth about Epstein. You know why that is? Because they know, as I said earlier, because they know that there is a lot of controversy going on right now with the whole Epstein thing. So, for me, I don't really feel like I want to do the whole Epstein thing again. But part of the conversation here has got to be that, okay, Democrats, why are you now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein list? Because you certainly weren't interested when you had the House, when you basically had the Senate with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker, and you didn't really seem to care when it came to, Joe Biden being in the White House. And you didn't really care then. Now that it's really kind of I don't know if you'd call it a wedge issue, but whatever you would call it, a big controversy within the Republican Party. Now what the Democrats are trying to do is sort of poke the bear, if you will. And by the way, I love how Epstein didn't say anything except ouch. I love how Hakeem Jeffries says Americans deserve to know the truth about Epstein. Where was that thought that Americans deserve to know the truth when it came to Joe Biden's cognitive decline? Now suddenly the Democrats are just, they're looking out for the American people. The American people deserve to know the truth. Don't you know they deserve to know the truth about Epstein, but not about Joe Biden? Want to make sure everybody's on the same page, according to the Democrats. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. far as your weather goes, a high of 93, possible thunderstorms as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, in other news, you've got Donald Trump, his deal with Ukraine, a big message to Vladimir Putin.
We've made a deal today where we are going to be sending them weapons and they're going to be paying for them. The United States will not be having any payment made. We're not buying it, but we will manufacture it and they're going to be paying for it.
So there you have it. And again, I spoke to Senator Bill Hagerty about this earlier. The deal is going to send a ton of bombs and Patriot missiles to Ukraine through NATO. And so that is phase one. Phase two is that if these two sides cannot find peace, then Donald Trump is threatening to tariff Russia by 100%. And I think that we need to figure out whatever that financial penalty is, we've got to find it. We've got to figure out what tariff, what sanction would actually work against Russia, because we've been screwing around with Russia for, years now. And we cannot seem to find that sweet spot, if you will, where it is actually going to make an impact, a direct impact on Russia. And one of the things that they do, and this is, I'll ask Victoria Coates about this at 8:05, but one of the things that they obviously do is they have figured out a way to bypass our sanctions, and we'll see about the tariffs. But Donald Trump is also threatening the countries that buy Russian oil. That is a threat to India and China. Now, as everybody's talking about, this is a massive policy shift, but I do believe that this is one that is designed to end the war in Ukraine. It's peace through strength.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia, but we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means. As you know, we've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine, and would like to see it end. It wasn't my war. It was Biden's war. It's not my war. I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%.
All right, so you know what? We'll see what happens. Hakeem Jeffries, by the way, speaking of Hakeem Jeffries, he is out there and he is talking about wanting to make Donald Trump eat crow. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. He has been talking about this for a long time.
Vladimir Putin has spent the entire year punking Donald Trump and the Trump administration.
So as I said earlier in the broadcast, listen, they're going to continue on with this and let them have their talking point. But at least Donald Trump is trying to do this. But Hakeem and a lot of these folks on the left, they just won't shut up about it.
Donald Trump promised many things to the American people and continues to betray the American people and break promise after promise after promise in a whole lot of areas, including Donald Trump's promise that there would be peace in Ukraine on day one of his presidency. Mm-hmm. How is that working out?
So we're having fun earlier with Hakeem Jeffries. By the way, apparently I was wrong, Joan, when I said that Hakeem Jeffries is a garage band Obama. I guess they actually call him, is it a dollar store Obama? Is what they call Hakeem Jeffries? Dollar store Obama.
I'd be okay with that.
I would too. Now, we're having some fun earlier because Hakeem Jeffries, I don't know why they're trying to get this dude to, liken him to Obama. He's a Democrat and he's black. Policies, probably right on par. But he doesn't have the skills of a Barack Obama. As a matter of fact, when I was playing this earlier in the broadcast, I actually realized that Hakeem Jeffries, his voice, the way that he speaks, reminds me of this.
Remember when you ran away and I got on my knees and begged you not to leave because I
Donald
go
Trump
berserk?
promised many things to the American people and continues to betray the American people and break promise after promise after promise in a whole lot of areas, including Donald Trump's promise that there would be peace in Ukraine on day one of his presidency. How is that working out?
I mean, they sound exactly the same.
It's the cadence.
It's the cadence.
Yeah.
And it has been, since he really came into sort of my purview, I've been thinking, what does he remind me of? And it was that. Rush Limbaugh, many, many years ago. That was, I guess, the Ross Perot, like, theme song or whatever. And by the way, what is that song again, KGB? That is what?
They Come to Take Me Away by Napoleon the 14th.
Napoleon the 14th. So it sounds exactly like Hakeem Jeffries.
On the super text line, they're saying that he's called the Timu Obama.
The Timu Obama.
Or Temu. I don't know how people say it.
Timu. It's Timu.
Timu?
Timu.
It's a very cheap, it's basically a cheap version of Amazon.
Oh, I see. That's why it's Timu.
It's the Wish replacement. That's a good one, yeah.
Isn't that all that stuff made out of China, too? Like really cheap stuff
Yeah,
made out of China?
It's like dirt cheap stuff, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if you don't want a PS5, you can have the XS5, like that kind of stuff. It makes cheap knockoffs.
So Dollar Store Obama, Garage Band Obama, Timu Obama, whatever. I wish somebody would, by the way, take Hakeem Jeffries away. It is 7:52. Nashville's Morning News on WTN. All right, Joan Jones has the news at 8. Joan.
Yeah, as a Smyrna family is mourning the loss of their son, some advice on what to do if you end up in a road rage situation. Also, what happens now after the Supreme Court allows the Trump administration to conduct mass firings at the Education Department. Coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value. I've been telling you for years about these folks at DT McCall's. I've bought a bunch of stuff from them. They're not Temu, absolutely not. DT McCall's, they've been helping people out for 3 generations with quality merchandise. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Indoor furniture, if you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. Of course, you know all about their lawnmowers and outdoor lawn equipment. Appliances, if it plugs in, they've got it, and they've always got specials going on to save you money. Right there on the front page of their website, you need something, go to dtmccalls.com. Always tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Specials and great prices on all the best brands of appliances like washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. At DT McCall's, they've been at it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. If you buy it, they'll deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. 7:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, you know what I almost did?
What's that?
Instead of saying the call letters like we're supposed to do as professional radio broadcasters,
Yes.
I almost said 1761 because I'm reading the text line.
Oh, man.
Remember early on when we got the text line, we all very quickly realized that it was like way too distracting. I think I said more than once, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
But anyway, 1761 says Temu is owned by China. Probably half of Washington, D.C. is as well. Buck Obama is what people are calling Barack Obama. Buck Obama. Okay. How does that play in? Buck Obama. Am I missing something?
Is it Buck when they mean to say the other word?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of like yesterday. People got mad at me, by the way. When remember yesterday when I said Tucker and that whole thing that he did, and I wanted to change the first letter of his name from T to F.
Yeah.
People got like irritated with me for that.
Well, you did repeat it like a couple of times.
Well, I got to make sure I get the joke in, and the people hear the joke. KGB.
That's also beating a dead horse.
You know what? KGB, this is for you. This is from Philip. You ready? Why can we not get a description on our 1 hour to an hour 3 of the podcast? Why are you not describing each hour of the podcast as opposed to just giving generics? That's for you. That's what happens when you start picking on me, KGB. Philip has a bone to pick with you.
This is what happens. Like, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Joan. By the way, I guess inflation numbers came out.
Yes.
And some people are saying they're good. Some people are saying they're not good.
It's not good.
Okay.
It accelerated to 2.7% on an annual basis.
Yeah, and that was a little bit over what they were expecting.
It was actually pretty in line with what investors were expecting. So the stock market may not do too badly, but what we're learning is that perhaps President Trump's tariffs are having an effect on the prices that we pay.
Right, which is something that, they have always said, which is, okay, so, short-term pain, long-term gain.
Correct.
Is part of what they said. And by the way, let's not forget a number of things. Number one, not that I'm a Trump apologist, but let's not forget we have all of that money coming in from the tariffs. That's number one.
Yes.
And number two, the big, beautiful bill will be getting all of those tax cuts. So that's also things to keep in mind. All right, we got to go. It is 8 o'clock. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open. 615-737-9986. Dollar store Buck Obama, Joan.
Oh, I see.
In calling Hakeem Jeffries Buck Obama.
Yeah.
Maybe that spider bite is having an impact on my brain.
Yeah, I think it's clearly yes. I
What's
think
your
that's
excuse? Because you didn't get it either, though. Joan has no excuse. I got bitten by a brown recluse. Joan has no excuse.
You don't know. You don't know that you got bitten by a brown recluse.
Oh, I know I did. That way, I've got an excuse as to why this show has sucked. All right, 8 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning, 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Another urgent plea from a Smyrna family heartbroken over the shooting death of their 22-year-old son on I-24 Saturday morning. Noah Taylor's family is offering a $2,000 reward for information about who killed him as he drove to work. This happened near the Waldron Road exit. They want drivers to check any car cameras that may have captured images of the suspect or the suspect's car. Meantime, Tennessee Highway Patrol has some advice for what to do if you find yourself in the middle of a road rage incident.
Notify law enforcement immediately and disengage. Do not pursue, do not travel after, do not try to chase someone down. Be the best witness that you can be.
And no eye contact. They say try to retain as much information as you safely can about the other driver. The Supreme Court yesterday gave the Trump administration the clearance to pare down the Department of Education.
Secretary McMahon wants to return education back to the states. This is just the first step in doing that. By reducing the agency and the workforce, it gives more power to the states and it gives less power to the government.
ABC's Arthur Jones there. A separate case decides if McMahon can abolish the department completely. Torrential downpours overnight and some damaging flash floods along the East Coast. And now air travel has been disrupted again. Here's ABC's Mola Lengi.
Major ripple effects being felt nationwide due to these storms. Nearly 1,500 flights have been impacted so far this morning, including flights in and out of Newark International Airport in New Jersey, LaGuardia in Queens, New York, and Reagan National Airport here just outside of Washington. Those are the most impacted airports.
A check of FAA's flight delay information just moments ago says there are 15-minute delays for both departures and arrivals at BNA. Meantime, the search for the missing continues in Texas, where flooding hit July 4th weekend, and now a specialized task force from Middle Tennessee is headed there to help. Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
Emergency management sent support personnel, expert handlers, and search dogs to Kirk County yesterday. These task force members will support canine search teams. The crew will be in Kirk County for at least the next 2 weeks.
A team from Memphis is also helping out there. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Well, that report on inflation is out. It showed inflation picked up in June, rising 2.7% annually, the highest pace, though, since February. Dow futures right now are minus 43. The NASDAQ futures are plus 154. S&P futures up 25 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, we've got a closure this morning. It's in Hendersonville, Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, eastbound between Gallatin Pike, exit 3, and New Shackle Island Road, exit 6. There's a crash there. It's an overturned truck in the median. And again, that area is closed off. It's Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, eastbound side, Gallatin Pike to New Shackle Island Road. Also, west end, a crash, Charlotte Avenue, 28th Avenue. You've got the crash there causing some big delays. And if you're traveling out at the airport, 40 westbound past Briley Parkway East, exit 215. There's a crash that takes out the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:07 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very busy news day. I want to get right to the Newsmaker hotline. Say good morning to Victoria Coates. You know, Victoria, I'm all about transparency. And so I am looking at your long and incredibly storied history in the world of foreign policy. I mean, I can't even begin to just bullet point one thing, but I will. You were, under Trump's first administration, National Security Advisor for Middle East and North African Affairs. So, I mean, that's where we will begin. But, man, you have been all over the place, and I find it fascinating. Would love to do sort of a longer form interview with you at some point because of all of your experience. And by the way, your relationship with Ted Cruz and how you worked with him on his campaign. But let's talk about right now the situation with Russia and Ukraine. Of course, Donald Trump made his big announcement yesterday. A big deal with Ukraine. It is really a message to Vladimir Putin. And the president is going to send a ton of, bombs and ammunitions and Patriot missiles to ultimately NATO. Then it goes over to Ukraine. And, people are calling this, of course, a big policy shift, which it is. And phase two, which I'll get to in a second, is that he is giving basically Russia 50 days to find peace. I'm going to get into that. But let's talk about the munitions. This is not what Joe Biden did, which is sending all of this weaponry directly to Ukraine with, no cost associated with it. We just gave them the weaponry. In this deal, it is a lot different because it is going from, of course, America to NATO. They are purchasing these weapons, and then they are delivering them to Ukraine.
Well, Dan, thanks for all those kind words. And of course, with me, it always starts with a PhD in Italian Renaissance art history, so we can talk about that someday too. That is real.
Yes.
But with Ukraine, yes, I think the president came back into office hoping that he could resurrect the working relationship we had with Russia during the first term, which was dysfunctional because it's the Russians. But we communicated with them. We met regularly with our counterparts, and Putin didn't invade anyone. That's the key thing. And so the president logically thought maybe we could get back to that. Putin, for whatever reason, I would probably point to his now very close relationship with China, which was not a thing during the first term, is not as responsive to Washington as he was, and has continued the killing. And as the president said, he would have a good conversation on the phone with him, go back and say to the first lady, I think we've made some progress, and she'd say, well, they just bombed a nursing home. So I think he's at the end of his patience now. I think he's very encouraged by the Hague summit, the NATO summit last month, in which most of our NATO allies, looking at you, Spain, pledged to get to 5% of GDP on defense. That's a huge shift for Europe. That's what he's wanted to see. And he now is going to try another strategy to get to a resolution of the war in Ukraine. So yes, 50 days for Putin to get his acting gear. He's threatening very severe sanctions on countries like Brazil and China and our friend India. So that's something we're going to have to work on. But those countries may now start pressuring Putin to wrap it up. I think that's the strategy there. And you have the shift in the way the aid is being given. It's not being given anymore. It's being sold to NATO. That's a really good thing. And then, at the same time, we're not sending tens of billions of dollars of direct economic assistance anymore either. One thing I would caution, just in closing, is that, we have to be very mindful of our own stockpiles, particularly of the interceptors for the Patriot systems, because we've been firing off a lot of those in the defense of Israel during the 12-day war and in the two engagements last October and April with Iran. So we need to be very, very careful that we're not expending material that we might need either in the Pacific or here at home.
I got to ask, Victoria Coates is joining us on WTN. So when I'm looking at all of this, I think that President Trump, he did show an incredible sign of peace through strength in dealing with Iran. And so now I'm wondering, is this President Trump, as he is giving or selling all of this weaponry to NATO and then on it goes to Ukraine, Is this going to be an escalation of the kinds of weapons that we ultimately sell to Ukraine so that Ukraine is in a better position to end this war?
That is definitely the hope, and important to point out that the Patriot systems that are the headliners of this most recent package are a defensive system, and NATO is inherently a defensive alliance. It has never declared war aggressively on anyone. It has only come to the defense of fellow NATO members. And so the notion that the president is doing something escalatory here, I just don't think is accurate. I think he is trying to give Ukraine the capability to defend itself from these Russian missiles. If Ukraine then decides to go and take actions like that extraordinary drone operation they pulled off earlier this year that start to set Russia back a little bit because Ukraine is more secure in its defenses, that would be great. And I'm also not adverse to, in a situation where we're not confronting Russia directly militarily, for them to see how effective our systems are, that there's not much they can do about it. And that was one of the things that I think was most powerful about the joint Israeli-American action against Iran, is Iran was utterly powerless, defenseless, exposed. Their systems did nothing, and we did whatever we wanted. And so having Putin realize that's the power of the United States and NATO might give him some pause if he was thinking about doing this again against a NATO member.
One of the things that I'm going to ask you coming up, I've got to do a quick check of traffic, but one of the things I'm going to ask you coming up is, of course, you know that Russia has this ability, so does China, to skirt our sanctions. And so I'm going to ask you if this time around they will actually be impacted by the sanctions or the tariffs, whatever we want to call them. But first, I got to check the roads on WTN. Hi, today of 93, possible thunderstorms as well. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Victoria Coates is joining us. And so typically Russia in the past has been able to figure out ways around our tariffs or our sanctions, actually, so that they would be less impacted. Is there a way to make sure that these possible 100% tariffs on Russia are actually felt by Russia and they're not able to skirt around them?
There is. And the problem with the package that President Biden announced in March of 2022 is it was filled with waivers. They didn't even need to skirt the sanctions. The sanctions weren't enforced. And Biden's problem was, as he was muffling, I guess is the best word for it, energy production here at home, they didn't want to take all those Russian molecules off the market. And so, not to get too weedy, but one of the nasty little secrets is they encouraged India to buy crude oil from Russia. And India's imports of Russian oil have gone from 1% to 2% of their imports to 40% over the period of the Ukraine war. They encouraged India to import that crude, process it in India, and sell it to Europe as Indian gasoline.
Wow.
They literally, the Biden administration, there are news reports of them doing this during one of President Modi's visits to the United States. So now we're in this ridiculous situation where the Indians and the Europeans are essentially doing some of the financing for Putin's war. This has to end. And so the message is being very clearly sent to India. Unfortunately, there's a precedent for this. We did it with them on Iranian oil during the first Trump term when they said they couldn't possibly wean themselves off of Iranian oil. And they went to zero Iranian imports during the first term because we helped them. We found alternative supply from the Saudis. We found an alternative supply from the United States, and they had barely a blip. So that can be done if you're willing to unleash American energy dominance. The president's going to be in my home state of Pennsylvania today talking about just this topic. He said could be out in Pittsburgh talking about U.S. energy production. And that's how you then bite Putin, because then the Indians aren't buying that product. And then the last piece of this is China, which has a lot of leverage over Putin. And if they think they're at risk of losing either or both the American and European markets over this, they're going to definitely think twice, because those are the two biggest markets in the world combined. They dwarf anything else. That's China's trade lifeline. So if they think that is going to be seriously at risk, they're going to put pressure on Putin to end the war as well.
So what does this look like at the end of the day? Because there's things of Vladimir Putin that have been demanding that there's no way that Ukraine will agree to. And so how does Vladimir Putin in 50 days, if he hasn't found peace on that 50th day, he knows what President Trump did to Iran. So how does Vladimir Putin get out of this? Like, how does he come out with a win?
Well, I think, like any negotiation, this is probably both parties coming out equally unhappy rather than anybody coming out particularly happy. And so there are going to have to be concessions made on both sides. I understand why it is deeply concerning to people to give him any kind of territorial concessions. And my feeling on that is, what the agreement we come to in 2025, that could potentially be revisited down the road under different Russian leadership in the future if Russia becomes a different kind of a country, which it could. So I think getting to a reasonable resolution here that keeps Ukraine, the vast majority of it intact, it permits for Ukraine self-defense. It permits for a very secure border on the east with Russia. Something like that can be acceptable for the time being, and bring an end to the killing, allow the reconstruction of Ukraine, and hopefully pave its way towards EU membership, which is, I think, more appropriate for Ukraine right now than NATO membership. So there are going to be some parts that nobody likes to this. That's inevitable.
Yeah.
But I do think that most people know what basic parameters of the deal is going to be, and we could actually get there pretty quickly.
Boy, you just mentioned the rebuilding of Ukraine. What does that even look like? Who does that? I know Ukraine probably can't do it. That's going to take some outside construction crews, possibly from United States.
Well, that's one of the things we've talked about with them as part of some of the economic packages after Biden's just provision of dollars, essentially, that this would be more of an investment on the part of the United States. One thing we're going to have to keep a really close eye on, Dan, is any Chinese activity.
Yes.
Because Zelensky has left the door open for that in the past, and anything that has any U.S. participation, there can't be any China. There just can't be. So that's something that we're going to have to make very clear, that they're going to need to use American, Japanese, South Korean, Australian. There's a menu of excellent construction and reconstruction industry in all of those allied countries, and that needs to be given the vast lion's share of this.
Well, yeah, this is rebuilding Ukraine is tailor-made for China's Belt and Road Initiative, but you're right, we have to keep them out.
Right. And Ukraine needs to be very, very clear that if you go down this road of Huawei and having them build your ports and your bridges and your infrastructure, we can't engage with you, because you then become a security risk. Yeah. And there's no way you could ever aspire to be a NATO member if you do that. So I think the Congress is going to have some views on that as well. So that is a very important message that needs, yes, we have to get to peace, but that's next up.
All right, Victoria Coates, always great to have you on. Great perspective. Looking forward to having you on again soon. It is 8:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Joan Jones is in the WTN newsroom. Hey, Joan.
So we'll tell you why some Lebanon school families are asking what happens when they flush. And some new details emerge about a Kentucky church shooting. We've got those stories and more coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
(8:22) on Super Talk 99.7. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, when I arrived in Middle Tennessee, I was riddled with chronic back pain, neck pain as well. Went to the Wellness Institute of Nashville at the recommendation of some friends, and I got to tell you that I have never, 11 years later, I've never felt better. And right now, they've got a great deal going on at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Right now, the July special, $12 is all you're going to pay for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed, well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. All of that from the Wellness Institute of Nashville right here in the month of July. Listen, if you have back or neck pain, if you have sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness, or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers, or toes, we can help you at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression plans can indeed help you. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Check them out today, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009. Start a pain-free life. Yes, it is possible. Call them today, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com. A25 on WTN, the Low T Center. Listen, guys, if you are over 40, if you're running low on energy, maybe you're just feeling off, lowtcenter.com is where you need to go. Get started with testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, and join lots of guys who are going through the same thing as you. They've got clinics all over Nashville, and yeah, they're really easy to get to. You walk in, you see a real medical provider, and you get that energy back. No complicated process, just results. And remember, these treatment plans, they are tailor-made just for you. You can get treatments at the clinic, or you can be treated at home. But either way, you're always going to get the highest quality of care at the Low T Center. Right now, in the month of July, you can get a free consultation. And if you qualify, treatment is covered by most major medical insurance. So reclaim that energy and become you again. By the way, they can also help with prescription weight loss options as well. So head on over right now to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment today. That is lowtcenter.com. Simple, quick, and totally worth it. 829, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I happen to know for a fact, Joan Jones.
Yes.
That Chris Hand is into house.
He is. I can confirm.
So I'm debating as to whether or not I want to play this just delicious Ketanji Brown Jackson audio.
Oh, boy. It's always
here.
delicious when it comes from her.
Do I want to play it here or do I want to save it for Chris Hand? We'll save it for the conversation with Chris coming up during the crisscross handoff is what we'll do.
Yeah.
Great Ketanji Brown Jackson audio as she virtue signals her way through life. Details straight ahead. It is 8:30 on WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Crews are putting the final touches on a new elementary school in Lebanon. But when LaGuardo Elementary School opens in a few weeks, the sewage system will not be up and running. That's because the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation wanted more information before signing off on a permit. Chris Lober is at Wilson County's Wastewater Authority.
It's a surprise on our end that they didn't approve it, but TDEC's the regulators, so they have the authority over what happens.
When the school does open next month, school leaders will be pumping the sewage out of the building onto trucks that will haul it away to a nearby treatment facility. Some new details now about a shooting at a Kentucky church on Sunday. The suspect identified now as Guy House. He opened fire inside the church, injuring the pastor, killing the pastor's wife and a daughter, and injuring the daughter's husband. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The rampage began Sunday morning when House shot and injured a state trooper who had pulled him over. He fled, carjacked a vehicle, and drove to Richmond Road Baptist Church looking for the mother of his children.
He's like, "Where's Angel? I just want to speak to Angel. That's my sister." My mom was like, "Angel's not here." He's like, "Well, I guess someone's going to have to die then," and shot twice.
Police rushed to the scene and fatally shot the gunman. House had open warrants for his arrest and just 5 days ago was placed on the county sheriff's most wanted list.
Other news of the day, he's back at it again. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo saying he'll run for New York City mayor as an independent candidate.
Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it.
In a video posted to social media yesterday, Cuomo vowed to run against the socialist, some say communist, running as a Democrat, Zoran Mamdani. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. A report out this morning, the Consumer Price Index came in higher, showing inflation is higher year over year. But it was what was expected by investors. So right now, the Dow Jones Industrials is beginning the day higher by 7 points. The Nasdaq is up 162, and we've got the S&P 500 index rising 30 points in the early going here. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Matt is here for my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. I love this place. You walk in. You have a lot of really amazing jewelry at incredible prices, lots of variety as well. I mean, they really do live up to that tagline, exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Listen, if you need a watch, a cufflink, a money clip, whatever jewelry you need for your dad, your husband, your brother, they've got it at great prices. And for the lady in your life, well, listen. They've got necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, you name it. They've got it at great prices at Brentwood Jewelry. Also, if you've got maybe an old family heirloom, like a watch or maybe a piece of jewelry that your grandmother used to have and it was passed on down to you, they can fix it at Brentwood Jewelry. Find them online, again, BrentwoodJewelry.com, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Stoltzco. Dan Mandis here, a great Tennessee company that does continue to grow and expand. This is a company that builds great pole barns here in Middle Tennessee. Now, pole barns from Stoltzco, they can serve as a garage, an event space, an equestrian building, even those amazing barn dominiums. You can live in these pole barns. And yes, we do. We call them barn dominiums. These days, they are new and improved coming from Stoltzco. They are now offering you turnkey options at Stoltzco. Now, that means that they handle the design, the construction, and the amazing finishing touches. You turn the key and you are home courtesy of Stoltzco. They also, by the way, now also offer storm shelters to keep you and your family safe. Now, again, your new pole barn from Stoltzco, it can be used for anything. So if you have some land that needs a building for whatever you want, call my friends at Stoltzco. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-622-5992. 615-622-5992. Find them on Instagram and Facebook to see examples of their incredible work around Middle Tennessee. Stoltzco.com.
Big troubles in Hendersonville this morning. It's Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, the westbound side. There is an accident past New Shackle Island Road, exit 6. It's in the left lane. The left lane is blocked off. It's an overturned truck that's in the median. It's also causing delays on the eastbound side of Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, right before New Shackle Island Road. Stop-and-go traffic for a few miles there. That's first responders working the scene of the crash on the westbound side. Careful in that area. Also, I-40, the westbound side past exit 213A and B, there's a crash and it's taking out 2 left lanes there. In Berry Hill, a crash on 65 northbound at Armory Drive, exit 79. The left lane, however, is open to traffic. And in East Nashville, Ellington Parkway southbound at Douglas Avenue. Watch for a crash in that area, too. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And so the back of my leg, it's like my left shin, and it's like red and pustular.
It's pussing?
It's like pustular.
It's pustular?
Yeah, pustular.
Go to urgent care, you psycho.
He's using his quarter dime.
Is pustular meaning like it's soon to be pussing?
No, it's not officially pussing yet, but it's
looking
pustular.
red
It's looking like it's going to get.
Does it look white in the middle?
It has the potential.
Becoming pussy.
We need it on air. Put your leg on the camera.
That's okay.
Show us that big pussy wound.
It's about to be amputated soon because you're not going to go see a doctor. So show us while you have it.
I think I got bit by that brown recluse.
Oh,
and
it happens every day. People, you'll be all right.
Yeah, like they're trying to convince me that I'm going to have to have my leg amputated.
But if it's only one leg amputated, you'll still be able to get here for the show.
I've got the other one.
Right.
You can just call me like
one-legged Dan.
So Monty Python, it's just a scratch.
We can get you one of those scooters.
Yeah, that he puts his leg on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can do a scooter.
That's, have a shotgun like in Sin City from that
new
movie.
nickname Hoppy.
Hoppy.
Hop along. By the way, Joan, you and I are being taken to task by 4702.
Oh,
What'd you do?
Well,
I expect this out of Dan, but not Joan.
Apparently, Joan's been on fire today. So, 4702 says, Dan, I know you hear Joan. She's like, she knows what I'm about to say. You all heard it right there. She knows where I'm going. Dan, you and Joan should be ashamed. KGB was showing general emotions and care for a fellow coworker, and y'all made fun of him. This is a rare quality these days, and you both should apologize.
Oh, that was Jeff's first mistake, actually.
Yeah, I was playing it on. I don't care if he loses the leg or not.
4702 sent that after the little meme that says, "'Tis but a scratch." So, I don't take him seriously.
Anyway, I'm sure that
Can I
it's gonna
keep
be
the leg
fine.
if you lose it? I'll just put it. I'll just like.
You want my leg? You want to go ahead and like?
Well, if I go hunting,
send it to a taxidermy.
If I go hunting, it'll be a great little bait option for animals.
You know what? If you were going to tell me that you were going to go ahead and put it like over your fireplace mantle kind of a thing, I would totally give you my leg.
I don't like too stinky.
I don't know what kind of animals you think you're gonna lure in with a severed leg.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a vulture.
I'm going out and I'm going. Oh, have you tried vulture?
My brother-in-law hunts a bunch, and he said that down where they checking the animals one day, some guy who had never hunted before showed up with a vulture, thinking it was a turkey.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And they said like everybody was having a hard time trying to like who's gonna tell him. Who's going to tell this
guys?
Poor
Look,
guy?
I bagged a turkey.
It's really the meat is really thin. I didn't expect that.
I can't remember the story.
Vulture?
Huh?
No. But vultures don't have as much meat as a turkey does. Obviously,
I've never been that close to a vulture, like ever.
No.
They're skinny little guys.
They're
big, but they're
vulture?
skinny.
Nature's garbage men.
Have you not drove
right.
by? Have you not like done a run on the street, like go for a run, and then there's a dead animal got roadkill, and there's vultures?
There was.
You lost him at. Have you ever gone for a run?
Yeah, fair enough.
There was.
I forgot who I was talking to.
Man, you two.
He doesn't have a leg.
Shut up.
His leg is injured.
He doesn't have one. It's gone in the next couple of weeks.
So anyway,
Rodney says new name Stumpy.
Stumpy.
I like that one better than Hoppy. I like that better.
That's a Seven Dwarves name.
So there was a time where I saw a deer hit by a car, and so I was very sad. You know, thing died.
Light a candle.
Sure, thoughts and prayers to the deer family.
Thoughts and prayers.
But nobody cleaned
Bambi's
up the
dad.
deer. This was on Nonneville Road where I live. Nobody cleaned up the deer. So this is like a big deer. So over the next several days, you watched as the vultures just, had vulture Thanksgiving on this deer. And so
Did they move it to the side of the road at least?
No, it was like off to the side. And so it wasn't in the road. And so slowly but surely, you start seeing like deer skeleton.
Oh, no.
And it was like,
the circle.
I called
of
my
life.
wife and I'm like, could somebody please take this thing away?
Why'd you call your wife? Was your wife gonna do it?
No.
Amy,
She laughed at me.
if I roll the barrel out there, will you help me get it in?
Grab the shovel, honey.
Do you guys remember that story about Amy and what was that thing? Was it a raccoon that she pulled out from underneath the deck that one time? The dead raccoon?
She pulled out a raccoon?
A dead raccoon.
What a beast.
Oh, she's amazing. Like it's the same shovel she tries to hit me with sometimes, but she.
Wow, way to just criminalize her at the same time.
She's amazing. Occasionally, there's some light domestic abuse.
Tries to kill me with a shovel.
But she always apologizes and tells me it'll never happen again.
That's exactly right. I forget. There was a smell.
68 times the charm.
There was a smell coming from underneath the deck. And I'm like, what is that?
And you didn't go down there to check? You had Amy go down there?
No, just so we're clear, Sam, get sick. I checked it, but I have this reflex thing, and I started,
gagging.
Yeah. And so Amy gets out the shovel, man, and she gets it, but this thing was like so decrepit.
Disintegrating?
Disintegrating. That half of it fell off the shovel.
Yummy.
And so, oh my God. Anyway, I don't know why I'm
finished
talking
eating
about
your Cheerios this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Next time a guy tries to sell you something at your house, like a solicitor, just throw him at the dead raccoon at him.
By the way, a guy says you should be talking about buzzards. We don't have vultures in the state of Tennessee. We don't have lawyers. What?
Good one. Except now you just
ticked off all the lawyers. That's all right.
Good job.
Hey, I brought some content for you.
Oh, okay. Well, real quickly, because I teased Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes, you must.
All right. So audio up, KGB. Ketanji Brown Jackson, virtue signaling. Listen.
What keeps you up at night? I would say the state of.
What?
That's on you.
Did that just stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, just stop dead.
Hold on. You know what? Her comment was so stupid, it froze the computer.
It destroyed the computer.
All right, let's try this again.
What is that? You hear that?
What keeps you up at night?
What?
Do you hear that sound? Somebody like...
It sounds like someone's on the roof.
Is somebody up on the roof?
All right,
okay,
sorry.
very good. All right, well, let's try this a third
Well, it's like
time.
the timing lined up where like all of a sudden I heard jostling up above us and then your audio cut out, so I thought they might be related.
That's Brown Jackson stopping this.
Maybe we've got Democrats in the building.
Maybe
they're up in the cellar where they belong. All right, here we go.
Jesus.
Here it is.
What keeps you up at night?
What
It
is
stopped
going
again?
on?
Dan.
Is our internet like not working?
No,
It's working. It's working for me.
I
Reload?
played this during the. I'm going to try this one more time.
Third time's the charm. You know that they say that, right?
Yes, they do say that. All right, fingers crossed, everyone.
People with
What keeps you up at night?
Nope.
Yeah.
We can fill in our blanks.
Yeah.
What wakes you up
do
at
it.
night?
Let's do
What
a
keeps
fill in
you
the
up at
blank.
night?
What keeps Kentucky Brown Jackson up at night?
In and Out not being open yet. In
Having to
Nashville.
read.
The fact that even Sonia Sotomayor is like, girl, you're crazy.
Yes.
You don't know jack or squat about the law.
The glare that she gets from Clarence Thomas from across the room.
All right, hold on.
I would say the state of our democracy.
All right, so she says that it sounded like she said it's the shade of our democracy is what she said.
Didn't Kamala Harris
shade?
say something similar to that on the campaign trail?
I think she did.
She did.
Actually. The shade of our democracy. Because she has nothing to offer.
She didn't say the state of our democracy. Are you sure of that?
I'm
Play it back.
you know what? It keeps stopping. So at some point in here, she does say the shade of our democracy.
It sounds like every Supreme Court argument she's ever had.
Wait, okay, it keeps stopping.
Oh, the applause. It's so beautiful.
Anyway, what is your content? Because clearly mine isn't working.
All right, so anybody eat microwave burritos?
Oh, yeah.
Microwave burritos?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
Survive off
huge
that
fan.
stuff.
I'm a huge fan.
Who doesn't like microwave burrito? I bet you Joan, because she's
Me?
kind of uppity.
No,
I knew
I'm
she
not
would.
uppity,
Yes,
but
I felt it coming too because
That
my
got
wife
me
doesn't
through
like them
college.
either.
You shouldn't microwave most things in the first place, but burritos of all
Well,
things?
when they're frozen, you have to heat them up.
Why
We're
would
not
you
going to eat them frozen, Joan.
Yeah.
Why would you even choose a frozen burrito?
Because
Oh,
sometimes you got to.
so good.
There's not a lot of money in
Oh,
college,
my
so you have to do what you got to do.
Joan has obviously never been a single bachelor.
Yeah.
I like how Jeff says there's not a lot of money in college, and I have a freezer full of burritos. There's no money in radio either.
Yeah.
But
Touche.
Amen
all
to
right.
that.
So what kind do you like?
Bean and cheese.
Bean and well, but the
Classic,
brand,
the classic.
but the brand.
Oh, I
Kirkland.
can see the. Is it Tina's?
Yeah. All right.
I like
perfect.
Tina's.
You like
Yeah,
Tina's?
yeah, that's what was
All
in
right. You
there.
guys ready for me to ruin it for you?
What?
What are you doing?
Okay.
I'm ready.
This is the headline.
This is a trigger warning.
This is the headline. Teenage cleaner fatally sucked into meat grinder at California factory for popular frozen burrito brand. And yes, it was Tina's. I can't eat them anymore.
Well, okay, hold on.
How did he get
So
sucked in?
it was. Oh, that happens. That happens all the time.
Is this like getting sucked into the engine of the airplane thing?
I think he's going to be okay.
No.
A teenager was sucked into a meat grinder and killed Sunday when the machine suddenly turned on while he was cleaning at a California factory for a popular frozen burrito brand. 19-year-old victim was working at Tina's Burritos food processing plant in Vernon as part of the after-hours sanitation crew when the deadly mishap happened.
Okay, so I got a question.
How do you clean that out of the meat grinder?
That's what I was going to ask. Like,
You
how do you
don't.
clean that up?
You've
And
got to
then,
get a new meat grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
No, I think I'm
scrap it.
safe, though, because I only eat the bean and cheese.
I was about to say, Dan's right on this. Bean and cheese is now the only option forever now.
That's exactly right.
Because I like steak, but I don't want human steak.
Authorities rushed to the scene but found the 19-year-old dead inside the grinder.
Oh.
The California Division of Occupational Safety and Health will investigate the worker's horrific death and try to figure out what could have suddenly triggered the meat grinder. Even in California, it's so liberal that the inanimate objects are getting triggered.
There you
Is that a little soon?
Sorry, maybe.
Wait, when did this happen?
Sunday? I feel like we've had enough. There's been a grace period.
Well,
so when you're a human and you get sucked into a meat grinder, like, does it grind you like?
No, it doesn't seem that way. It took them about 45 minutes to break down the machine and extract the mangled body from it.
God.
Imagine that's your gig. You think this is tough?
Yeah, exactly.
You're the guy that gets the call at 3 a.m. Hey, we have a body in a meat grinder, and we're going to need to get you down here.
Oh, there's some sick people there's coroners. I remember hearing interviews with coroners. They're like, yeah, you're so desensitized to this stuff that it just doesn't even matter anymore. You can handle anything.
Yeah, but we're not coroners. We're just human beings.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you do that, if that's your job of like handling dead bodies and like taking them off crime scenes.
Like a special. Okay, so you know what's weird to me, or what's happened to me, is there was a particular video that shows up on my X feed. I don't know why, but it was a video of a guy. You know how he offed himself? He jumped into like an airplane engine.
Oh.
He just jumped into they're chasing.
Yeah.
They're chasing this dude all over the runway, and then he jumps into the airplane engine thing,
Tally-ho.
on the wings, and he jumps in, and then it didn't suck him in, it just chopped him up, and he fell right back onto the runway.
Oh.
But now,
because you'd almost expect
the
that
flight delayed?
if you jump in one side, you're coming out the other side liquid.
that's a good question, KGB.
Yeah, so
I don't
he
know.
jumped in the wrong side to be sucked through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
there's a correct way to go
I was
into a
say
jet
there's
engine.
there's no side to correct.
I don't
side
think
to
there's
jump
a
in.
No, but there's a side that you would get pulled through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So he
guess.
jumped in the other side.
So all of a sudden, because I watched
does
that
this
video,
matter?
and I did watch it a couple of times. I actually wanted Amy to watch it. She said no. Whatever.
So you said you
Go figure.
can get a dead raccoon from under the porch, no problem, but you can't watch a man jump into an
Yeah.
airplane.
Yes.
Dead raccoon, gross. Man chopped up into mini pieces from a jet engine, A-OK.
Dan said there's no smell, it's just a video.
Anyway,
touche.
and by the way, it wasn't a raccoon; it was a possum. I'm told.
Oh.
I remember now. Much better.
It's hard
Oh,
to tell
yeah,
when they're
that's
that
great.
disintegrated.
Oh, God.
So now all of a sudden on my my Twitter feed, I got all these like death videos showing up
In the For You section?
Did you click on it?
Your algo has been
you
compromised.
triggered the algorithm.
You probably did you watch 1,000 Ways to Die when that show was on?
No, I didn't. I don't know. I clicked on the guy jumping into the airplane engine because what a weird way to try to,
So the algorithm was like, oh, you're sick. Here's some other videos.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I've noticed, though, is that all these videos, see, now I've been watching them, and it's weird, I know. But, in the few
I
that
can't look away from those videos. I watch them all.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in the few that I've watched, one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of the people that meet their untimely demise, they're dumb. Like they've done stupid stuff. There's one, and again, I wanted Amy to watch it. She wouldn't watch it.
They have something in common.
Yeah.
Listen, who says romance is dead in my house? It's like I'm trying to get Amy to watch these videos. But there's one guy who he's got headphones on, and he's on a bus, and he's a white dude, and he's like clearly thinks that he's like Eminem or something.
Yeah.
And he's like John, it's some other dude. And he's singing like whatever rap song it is. And the other guy on the bus is looking at him like, are you serious? Because the guy's like really challenging him with these lyrics. And the guy's clearly into the lyrics. And the other guy's like, are you serious right now? And so cut to, it's not funny. Cut to the next scene where the dude is sitting there bleeding.
Oh, no.
After being stabbed.
Oh.
I'm just telling you. No, all I'm
Wait,
saying
which
is
guy got stabbed? The rapper or the one that was
the
being
rapper,
rapped at?
the guy that was being an idiot. In other words, and it's like, I hope he didn't die. But it's just like, dude, what did you think would happen? You're on like like a bus in Philadelphia. And you're aggressively rapping at some other dude, and the guy's just like, you don't want to do this, man. And then cut to the next scene, and he's sitting there bleeding. I hope he's okay. But
cut to the next scene like it's a movie.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think a lot of these, they do stupid stuff. That's what another one guy jumps into like really torrential, like it's like a, what do you call it? Where there's water. It's not a bay, but it's like a dam kind of a thing. Guy jumps into a dam, and the water is like full of like currents and everything. And then he's like, I can't get out. It's like, well, no crap, Sherlock.
This is a very dark segment.
The common denominator here is dumb.
Yes. Anyway, so I got to fix my algorithm.
This took a turn.
Just look at pet videos.
Yeah.
Look at what videos?
Pet videos.
Yeah.
Just search
Pet
for like
video.
puppies
Oh.
and like a bunch of
Charlie
them
bit
and
my
retweet
finger.
them.
Just Charlie bit my finger, and you're good to
Do
go.
you know what happened? Like whenever Amy walks out I'm always sitting on the back porch, and I walk out and I'm laughing at stuff, and she's like, Are you watching husky videos again? Because
What?
I am obsessed with husky videos. like obsessed with husky videos. Because, they talk, right? Huskies
the
talk.
yin and the yang of Mandis. It's either going to be sheer destruction and death or an adorable husky.
They are. They're adorbs. It's like, there's a husky and it's and they're talking. And I start laughing. I just laugh hysterically at these huskies. And I don't want one because I like to be able to turn them off like on the videos. I don't want to have to live with one because Bandit is enough. Good Lord, man.
To turn them off.
Trying to sleep last night with stupid Bandit.
I'll take a husky if there's an off switch.
It did sound a bit much, didn't it?
All right, so moral of the moral of the story, no more Tina's burritos unless it's the vegetarian option.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because you don't want any of that scrap stuff that's left in the...
Oh, is this a hair?
Ew.
I think I taste a bone.
That's just gross.
I think we should probably move on.
We should have moved on 10 minutes ago.
Joan, what's coming up?
President Trump is making a move on Russia. And the report that just dealt a blow to the idea of lower interest rates. We've got those stories and more here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you. By the way, I want to make sure that everyone knows the last segment not brought to you by Tina's Burritos. All right, I'm done. I'm like way, way, way done today. So what's coming up?
Well, we're going to be talking about this big event that's happening today in Pittsburgh, the inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation event. Rumor has it that Donald Trump is set to announce a $70 billion AI energy investment, which is going to bring thousands of jobs. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Russia, Ukraine. We'll talk a little bit about Epstein and some updates on immigration enforcement. Oh, and Corey Mills is getting evicted. Did you see that?
Who? What?
I saw that too, yeah.
Congressman Corey Mills.
He's getting evicted.
He's getting evicted.
From where?
From his apartment in D.C.
What am I missing? Okay.
The rent on the apartment is $20,000 a month.
Wow. Okay, we got to go.
A congressperson makes $174,000. That's $14,500 a month.
All right, details coming up. I'm getting the windmill of doom here, whatever it is you call it. All right, Contours. Listen, they are in the middle of their July special, their summer special, the Belly Buster special from Contours. Now, right now, first 10 callers, 615-236-9960. You're going to get that Belly Buster special for just $99 from Contours. It is cutting edge, this red light technology that they utilize. Take advantage of Contours and the red light technology. It is incredibly unique. It is effective. And yes, it is cutting edge. Now, folks have been coming from all across Middle Tennessee to check them out. Go to their website to see how the whole thing works. Belly Buster Therapy. It is contoursllc.com. First 10 callers right now get a couple of inches across the middle, just about melted off. And I've been doing it. Also, Chad Benson has been doing it. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Contoursllc.com.